Both TI8 and TI9 returning champions OG are here to fight for their third TI championship in a row. Unveiling a new roster that includes TI champions Sumail and experienced TI competitor Saksa, they had an impressive third place finish with a 10-6 score in the TI10 group stage after qualifying through the Western Europe qualifier. Puppy himself said, OG is a well-respected team and great to practice with, and he has always wanted to meet them on the TI stage. And now it is becoming a reality. Known for their aggressive plays and momentum capitalization, OG is widely considered a top contender at the International 10. Team Secret has, over several years, proven that they are one of the best performing teams, taking first place at 8 major tournaments in a row. And now, they're here to prove that they can take that skill from majors to the international stage as they compete against the champions of the last 2 years. While OG is known for their aggressive plays, Team Secret is known for their diversity and their patience. Finishing out group stage in second place with a 10-6, will the puppy wall be the thing that sends OG to the lower bracket? That is the question of this matchup. It's two very unique play styles that directly contrast each other. Gentlemen, we will take a quick look at a recap of Secret's journey to the International.
Time has been bought for Secret to turn up. Matu's going again straight for No-Tail. No-Tail actually has to separate himself this time around. They've got the silence out of Matu. Can they kill him off? Matu wants the enrage. He's still got the BKB. He's going to pop it. Standing down. Turn towards Step. Puppy comes in with the tether. Keeping him alive. The snowball comes out for Yapto. Matu.
Oh my God, he's alive.
Finally, he's going to be able to live. He's going to be able to live. He gets out of there. Puppy with the save. They've killed off a fourth. The Saxa goes down. I mean, it's just too much for OG. It's too much. They cannot deal with Secret here. Can they kill this PA? No.
He's jumping away.
He's away once more. Over towards Puppy. He goes. Matu's out. Now they're ready to turn. Woo! Matu's back in. Ravage out. Zai is ready to go for more. There's the backup required as they jump in onto S4. A Wukong's command comes immediately to an end. As it's getting messy.
Into the fourth staff. Okay, they're going in as well.
They're going in deep here under the tier 4s. But they've got the control on Nico Baby. Playing around with his morph. He's trying to get back towards his fountain. They're not going to let him. They're not going to let him. As Matu's in with the bashes, they're calling it. They want the pain to end here, Alliance. As game 3, it was another game 1 hit. Well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, with Team Secret taking the game, taking the series, they are the champions here at Dream League Season 14, this EU Upper Division. Team Secret, your champions once again.
Really good foresight play by Puppy here.
Tusk might be in trouble too. He's got shards maybe to get some distance and a snowball on the high ground. That's well done.
Do you see a combo play? He Nova the creeps to get vision, and then he managed to snowball up there because of it.
See the walk by onto Matuma-Man. Matuma-Man is ready to go, but onto the side. Tuamo goes straight in with the charge. Over towards Puppy. Nisha down towards the two of them. This is going to be the invis for now. Keeping Tuamo safe. He gets away with the Trickster Cloak over to the side. They're on top of Dead. Dead. He's been bashed up in control, but Dead. He's able to get the G's off. He gets a second chance at living here. Dead still alive. finally falls to the side, but as Death's gone, buys back over to the side, play hard, rolls
on Wind
in,
Ranger.
onto Yapsor. If they're able to push back Yopaj, Yopaj continuing to be chased down by the Timberman, but Timberman stuck in the bash is there. Yopaj taken down. Drumwell is well in trouble. The Secret, the final third. Flyback's coming out for the three of them, but Skev, he needs help and he needs it now.
Where's
Lost
the bat?
BKB, the four of them focusing down Skev. Skev's trying to go for the TP out. Is he able to make it in time? He isn't. The stone comes in as the BKB comes to an end.
Morphling on the run here, low on mana, doesn't have a way out of this one. He's just going to be slowly burned down unless Matumbaman can somehow save him, maybe Appstore as well. He's got enough to be able to jump out with a waveform. Call going in, now with the egg on the side here. Oh dear, he actually gets the call and he runs away. He's still alive through all this one, Nico Baby. He charges in with the Aang Swell, but that's just an Aeon Disc on Yapstor. He's going to continue to slow down Nico Baby's side. He meets him around the corner and says, "Are you looking for me, punk?"
Team Secret had 950 points in the DPC, but what is it that really makes them truly powerful? There's a little, not only are they great Dota players, but there's also like that mental game also in play here. Lizard, tell me a little bit about how the mental game works here for both OG and Team Secret.
So I already said that mental warfare is probably the most important thing coming into TI more than any other tournament, right? Because your emotions get over you. It doesn't matter like who you're playing against and where you're playing versus a team that's as strong as Secret. It can get tough for OG, especially as they don't have the same roster that was lifting them up. If you remember Jerax and Tiny Airlines and whatnot, that lightens the mood always. But what I've seen from Secret, not in this walkout, like when they were going to the booth, they looked very serious. However, in their games, I've seen some clowny business. I've seen some mechs being dropped on the ground in middle of team fights, laughter, just enjoying themselves a lot. And I think there's something changed about them. This might be the TI.
Yeah, on the flip side, you know, you could argue OG is the type of team that I think NoTail tweeted that like he really wanted the crowd to be there because it amplifies them. And something that I've noticed with OG too is that they, I think as a result of that, knowing that they feed off of that, they're upping their game for mental warfare. They're using, you know, I think they used Arteezy's significant other's chat line in a game, I believe, against them. There's also, you know, they're like question marking in all chat, and it sounds so goofy and it sounds so silly, but it's not, because they won 2 TIs doing this. They're the team that started this trend of people taking mental coaching a lot more seriously. So you could argue that OG has also upped the ante this time around as well, even with no crowd.
Oh, do you think it's more about propping yourself up, right, than anything else?
I think for OG specifically, I think a lot of it's seen as sort of like clowny or even bordering on BM, but to them, it's just them enjoying the game, loving the game, and having fun. I think that's really what propels them. I think you were mentioning Team Secret. They always come into TI as favorites, or most years. This year, there's no crowd, and they've sort of taken a bit of a break, right? Mentally reset themselves.
Right.
And you mentioned they're having more fun in the games. I think we might see like a different Secret at TI, at least for the playoffs.
A different kind of Secret. What do you mean by that? How are they different?
Team Secret, like I think for the past few years, I think they're the best team in the world outside of TI. Like they dominate the meta for so much. Like when I was trying to learn what was like the groundbreaking Dota strategies, I would always look at Team Secret. And then they always, you know, they go to TI, they get 5th, and then they get 4th, and these would be disappointing placements for them. Like 5th and 4th are very respectable, but not what you expect out of a squad that shows this level of caliber throughout the year.
Yeah, they had 8 like major tournaments in a row that they won. Not DPC major, but like major in terms of, you know, $100,000 to $500,000 prize pools, something like that. They won 8 in a row.
And the finals were stomps too.
Yeah, it's like complete stomps, yeah.
3-0 grand finals, one grand final after another. I was paneling most of them and felt like, okay, here we go. Secret comes in, it's a 3-0, going home early tonight, I suppose. But coming into this series, Slack said something interesting. He has his conspiracy theory that they were, you know, 4 months away from tournaments in order to hide their strategies and also to give themselves that mental break and change something, come into the TI in a little bit of a different way. I think they've accomplished that.
I actually remember watching some major at some point, and they were interviewing Zai, and he was saying that for that major, they hadn't actually been scrimming up until like the 2 weeks before, other than boot camp. And so like the 2 week boot camp. And so it seems like they have had that mentality before, and they respect that mentality. And now they're actually doing that for TI rather than just these other tournaments. Perhaps it's because they took TI way more seriously, so they like changed it up. But now they're like, you know what? We're just going to do what we did to win all of the other tournaments.
Yeah, actually, I remember, I think MDO Disneyland, they won that major. I don't think they played a single scrim before that tournament.
Yeah, that was actually, I think that was probably
they did scrim before the tournament.
Yeah.
That's some confidence. Is that a confidence thing, or is that like the super secret strat about being secret?
Did they scrim a lot before any major? Because they went out in the wild cards.
It's hard to say. That's hard to say. We didn't get many interviews.
I mean, the MDO Disneyland one, that was like 2018. Yeah. I don't know. I think after they got fourth in Singapore, they're sort of qualified for TI. They decided to like straight set their eyes on TI. I think they're very goal-oriented.
I think that's something very similar to IG. You could see their games in DPC Season 2. They would even end them really quickly if things go wrong, just because they're focusing on the games, on the future.
I like that we can see OG in there just looking up at the monstrous versions of themselves. Like, they're really enjoying the moment, and that's good to see for a team that, you know, obviously does incredibly well whenever they're enjoying the moment.
I like that so much, though. Like, you're at the main stage. I know it's OG. They're the best at dealing with TI pressure, but they've won 2 TIs. They're still enjoying the moment.
Yeah,
like,
that's good. It's so important.
Like, look at where we are. Remember how we got here, and
remember
like, believe in each
from.
other. You know,
yeah.
I feel like they made Saxa a little bit smaller, actually.
They may have.
Yeah, they may have.
I think
he is a giant.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to your point about enjoying themselves, there is actually, if you rewatch True Sight, Seb, coming into the grand finals, he says, guys, we already won this. Just enjoy yourself. And that's it, right? If you enjoy what you're doing, it's so much easier to play, because that's how you defeat fear, that's how you defeat anxiety, and just go all in.
Yeah, it's
channel
true.
the energy.
It's true. OG is 100% a mental team. I remember there was something in the Omega League. We actually interviewed Seb, and we talked to him about like the nature of language, and he went off for like 3 minutes explaining that, you know, jokingly, like other teams literally steal the words that they use because they're so important for winning the game, bringing these extremely complicated concepts and making them very simple. So OG is all about the out-of-game stuff.
Tell me a little bit about their in-game stuff as well, because they're, as we mentioned earlier, they have 2 completely different play styles, with Secret maybe being a little bit more patient and OG being maybe a little bit more aggressive. Tell me a little bit about that, AUI.
So I think Team Secret this tournament, more than any other team, not just this tournament, historically, I'll see an enemy team run up the high ground into all 5 of their heroes. Puppy will be in front, they'll kill him, he'll buy back, and they'll win the fight.
Yeah.
And this consistently happens. They're less of a timing team, and they're more like waiting for their good fight. They will always wait for the perfect fight. OG, on the other hand, I think they're honestly a bit of a misunderstood team. People see them as this hyper-aggro team, which they are. But I think mostly they're like a timing-based team. There's like an on switch for them, and as soon as they hit their timing, they're ready to go, and they never stop. As long as you can pressure your opponent, they're down to like bring all the numbers they need.
Yeah, I remember watching a clip from No Tail's stream where he was breaking down their TI-8 win, and this also goes back to the nature of the language that they use, and I absolutely loved it. Like, half the stream was him just memeing because he's a huge memer, but then the other half was like golden nuggets where basically he was like, yeah, so basically in this game, like, well, just Dota in general is like a game of cat and mouse, and as the game progressed, he was explaining the points where they were the cats and when they were the mice, and it's like these words that it sounds so silly and like almost childish, but it gives you a perfect idea of what their goal was at that point in the game. Like early game, OG, before the timings that you spoke about, what they do is they'll have Thompson like run in, not going for kills necessarily because he couldn't full to 0 the heroes he's trying to go for, but just to make space. Literally just to make space until they can get to that point where they become the cats, and then when they become the cats, they're just vicious killers.
Interesting. And Lizard, what about the roster changes? We talked about it very briefly earlier, but now that OG is not the same OG that we've seen the last 2 years, What are the effects on that?
I'm not sure if it's just them keeping it on brand, right? Scrap up, find the last replacement just before TI in June, go into the qualifier, win the qualifier, go on to the TI.
Barely win the qualifier.
Barely
Both,
win.
Yeah.
Both TIs. Like the storyline is literally repeating itself. But when it comes to Sux, I remember during Dream League Leipzig major, they still didn't even announce him, and Notel was talking to us a little bit. He was there, and he said, yeah, this is a perfect player for us. Why? He doesn't have to think the same way we do. We will change that. We will adjust him. However, he is mechanically incredibly skilled. That's why he was top 2 on another TI, right, with DC before. So makes a ton of sense. He brings a ton of stability as well to the team, but in comparison to Jerax, maybe he does not necessarily have as much flair, and perhaps he doesn't bring as much when it comes to the emotional stability of the team.
Okay.
There aren't many players that can be as relaxed on a big stage as Jerax.
Well, here's the thing, though. The more you doubt, the more power it gives OG. I remember listening to Elon Musk speak about the simulation. I was thinking, man, this guy may have smoked a little too much with Joe Rogan. But now that OG is so doubted to win TI, and more doubted than before, I am 100% convinced we do indeed live in a simulation. You can't write a better storyline than this. You're doubting them live on the panel right before their game. This fuels them. I hope you realize. This travels through the ether of reality and gives them power. Look at Sumail.
So it's Kyle predictions and panel doubting them.
Yes!
That's it?
Everybody
okay.
doubting them. All of the worldly doubt fuels OG.
Honestly, oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, AUI.
I was just going to say, OG looks pretty poised for a third-time fluke in a row, you know?
Well, he called it fluke, so that still counts as doubting. You have to really mean it.
I mean, it's not flukes. I'm just saying, like, when you watch OG, you understand that they know things about Dota that I feel like they do better than any other team consistently.
All right, so AUI, give me like your 10-second description of Secret's biggest strength. We've talked a little bit about OG, but what about Secret?
I think Secret's biggest strength is that when they're waiting for the right fight, they're very patient, and they move around the map before and after fights the best out of any team at the tournament, I think. Like, Puppy will literally use like cardinal directions and just move his teammates around so you get the right angle. Even if it doesn't seem obvious at first, you'll be like, oh wow, that was a really good move.
Yeah, it's like Puppy's moving them all at once, basically.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it stems all the way back to the old school captains. You can really see the same thing in QQQ and ROTK and all these oldies. They do the same thing.
Awesome. So one more thing that I just have to ask. One of the things that we mentioned while we were talking over dinner about this series is that Secret was an informational-based team. Tell me about that. What makes them an informational-based team?
Well, I think a big thing is, like, Secret doesn't necessarily look for timings. It's not like, oh, you know, obviously to a degree they will. Every single team at TI will. It's like, oh, we have a BKB, they don't, let's go fight. But Secret is the type of team where, like, you'll have like 10 seconds left on your Ravage cooldown, and they will be smoked waiting on a high ground for you to walk up and they'll fight you. Okay. So they use information better than a lot of other teams. And it's because it's their playstyle to just beat you when you don't have something available to you.
And to add on to that, I think Secret, as a team, they get the most information and they react to information the fastest. This team, traditionally, they push out the most waves. They will always have wave shove. They'll make the enemy show, you know, they'll get impatient, and that's why the enemy's actually running into them in the high ground, because they lost patience first. They're also, from what I've heard about their communications, I think they have, I mean, this is all hearsay because I've never been there, but everyone on that team talks a lot and provides a lot of information. I remember I saw this one series, I think it was with Vici, where they decided to put 3 heroes in the bottom lane, bring Puppy there, just so they could deward the camp. They get the hard pull off, which allows Yapster to be freed up, and then they save their glyph so that their puck can get 6 before the enemy storm. They coil him, and Yapster's there because the lane's in good position for Zai. These sorts of plays are all set up by your communications. Like, you have to execute as well, but it's really good planning and everything.
It's definitely communication, but it has to come from somewhere, and that thing is experience. The amount of experience that Puppy brings to the team, that these big captains bring to teams, it's difficult to beat because he has multiple mental models on a way that he can direct his team to play a different style in every single game. And he's surrounded by such talent that they're able to actually conform and move into different directions of different strategies. I think that's extremely important for them. If they're losing, they will never bow down and make these silly mistakes. They won't even desperate smoke out. They will continuously try to split push to buy themselves some more time, and they're the best at that.
One thing that really that has me wondering is how the current state of affairs of the world has affected TI for both of these teams. As you mentioned earlier, OG has no audience that No-Tail can feed off of, but at the same time, Team Secret, a very, very experienced team, they're probably not really sure what to do with this as well. There's no audience. They might have, like, there was no TI last year, so they don't have, like, the practice, the extra TI experience. Do you think that both of these teams will be suffering a little bit, or do you think that they're just ready, they're prepared?
Well, I would say that emotions are still running high. If you think about the majors, one team got devastated by a punctuation mark, so
right.
It doesn't matter if it doesn't really matter if you have the audience or not, but the build-up is even bigger because it's been longer. We've had 2 years of no TIs. Because of that, this is so important for every single team.
Yeah, I mean, there's also a question of, like, for different individuals, this would matter more or less. You know, going back to EG, I see EG as a team that they are, you know, desperate for number ones. They want to break the curse, whereas I feel like Team Secret, if they're coming into this with any mentality that's close to their major mentalities, well, it's the same. You know, there's no crowd, there's a lot of money on the line. It's the same thing. And so that's the one argument. Like, I don't remember who it was that said it, but it wasn't me, just so I don't get in trouble for this. But somebody said, I think it was Slacks, that Puppy isn't necessarily the type of guy that you would want to cry on his shoulder if you're losing the game. He's a great captain. He can, you know, tell you exactly what to do, but perhaps he rules with a bit of an iron fist. You know, No-Tail on the other side, Seb as well. These are the types of guys that they will, you know, pick you up. They'll deal with your emotions and fix them perhaps. And so the question is, will Team Secret just not need their emotions to be picked up because there are less of them now, and it's so similar to majors? Are they different from EG in that way? And I guess that's what we'll see today.
For sure.
AUI, did you have anything to add?
No, I was just thinking, it's because Puppy, he has this image of this very scary captain. But I've worked with him before, and he's actually sort of a goofball.
He's a nice guy.
No, when you run into when you see Team Secret sitting together, they actually sit together and they make animal noises at each other.
What?
I don't know for
what
fun.
type of animal?
I don't know. Like
orangutans?
Yeah, you know, just anything to have fun.
Monkeys are fun.
It's less public facing, but what did you say?
I said monkeys are great. Continue.
I think it's true that maybe the team dynamic from the outside doesn't look like Secret will be as comforting, but the one topic I wanted to touch on is the coaches of the two teams. Because for me, I think it's super interesting that for OG, they've changed their coach after every TI win. Like some fresh ideas, something coming in. And Team Secret, they have Heen, who I believe he got second with Team Nigma, or they were Team Liquid at the time, and then he jumped over to Secret, right?
Yep.
A couple years ago. He's been there for a long time, more stable.
He also tweeted that he will make the president of, is it Denmark?
Estonia?
No. Matumba Man.
Finland?
Finland. Okay.
Oh.
The king, the president.
He would make the president. He will make that president. No, is it a king?
I think maybe
whatever
they have
the leader
both,
is there,
whatever.
they will know. They will know Matumba Man's name.
Because they met Jerax
by the end of the year.
Hobson, right?
They did.
But they did not meet Matu.
No.
And he was very sad about that.
Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just want to say that for all of you at home who aren't as lucky as me, I can look at Cinderin like a few feet away from me at the drafter's
shaking
desk,
his head.
and he's shaking his head at Jenkins right now, and he was the one that told us it was Finland. What an expert!
Thank you, Sin.
Thank you.
When it comes to the coaches that you talk, I actually did talk to Soshka a little bit. I'm sad that he didn't manage to get here on TI, but he is still a side coach. They didn't abandon him. He's still with the team, as much as I understand. But
all right, cool. Well, it looks like we are ready for the first game of the series. Let's get it started.
OG versus Team Secret. Game 1.
Welcome to the draft panel once again, this time with OG versus Secret. Two teams with such high-skilled captains and drafters that it almost feels like the draft is a game in and of itself. To analyze this draft, my name is L+, and I'm joined this time by two excellent members of the panel. It's going to be the high MMR player, Effie, even higher MMR as a person, and the stoic and ex-pro, Syndren.
Hello.
Hello. So, I'm going to start with you, Syndren. As you have this incredible competitive experience, I want to hear about you. I want to hear about the drafting styles about these two teams. In an overarching sense, what could you tell me about their philosophy when it comes to the draft?
I think overall, I don't know if you want to talk like history or just this event in specific, but
go ahead with history.
I would say OG, historically speaking, at TI has been more of a meta dictating team than Secret has, at least in the last couple of events. Obviously, they have 2 victories under their belt, so this could be a correlation there, that if you're the teams that come in with a lot of the cool strategies and have good ideas, you can go far. And something that OG have always been really good at TI is something I would call like combos. So they have this understanding, they figure out, I don't know how they do it, they like drill the game into absolute detail and figure out what is the really strong mechanic of this patch. Like TI8, they were playing on healing, at TI9 they were playing on regen, and now let's see what it is at TI10, and if they have that advantage over the other teams. Because usually they can kind of hold their cards a little bit close to themselves until the main event, and then they're gonna go all out and show what they've got. So far, nothing too surprising here, though.
Okay.
I really like what Syndren said about a meta dictating kind of team always succeeding, because as we've seen earlier this season with PSG, LGD in particular, they were the ones who kind of set the trend for the Animator, right? They innovated the carry axe, they were playing all kinds of different styles, and they won it, right? So the teams that are willing to be more creative and actually bust out the new heroes and the strange builds are always the ones that go further on the big stage.
And then what can you tell me about Secret then, and their philosophy?
I would say Secret overall have been, how to say, that they're a little bit more stable in a sense. I think, how to put this? So sometimes OG's strategies can be absolutely incredible, and other times it's almost like they're like over creative and almost shoot themselves in the foot because they try to do too many things at once. And they kind of like try to from my perspective, it seems like sometimes they need to tame themselves a little bit because they love to be crazy and wacky and they want to do all this stuff. So you've had drafts with OG during qualifiers as well where people are like, what are you doing? Like, what is this? What is this strategy? How is it meant to work? And other times you see the strategy and you don't understand it and you see a game play out and you're like, wow, okay. They were like thinking at this 3 levels higher than I was imagining, right? And then all the pieces come together. Secret, it's a little bit more stable. I would say Secret's bottom level in drafting is probably higher than OG's, but I think their ceiling is also a little bit lower. So it depends who gets to, like if OG is at absolute echelon tier for themselves, I see them having an advantage in the draft. So for Secret, it's about sticking to their guns, getting something stable, and maybe throwing a curveball if they can a little bit to OG, and making them, you know, get out of their comfort zone a little bit.
For now, we don't see much of a curveball. We see one of the most picked heroes, or most contested, which is going to be the Monkey King. Actually, one of the best teams that play Monkey King, because they have multiple of the best Monkey King players in the team. Thoughts on the start, Effie, of Monkey King Ancient Apparition?
So the thing about Monkey King is that out of all the popular and more contested heroes recently, I think he might provide the most value in the first phase, just because he can be flexed to every single role and played well, right? Typically, these first phase heroes can play on maybe 2 core roles, maybe on 1 support role, but with Monkey King, you can have him play 1 through 5, and depending on if you have players who excel at it, you can adjust it to the enemy team's draft. So that hero in and of itself, in that regard, provides value. The AA pick is pretty obvious, right? Because we saw IO being picked up by OG, so they just go for the typical counter left in the pool. But the IO that OG has currently is a little bit more interesting because if you saw this on another team, you'd probably think it's a support, but OG have already played it twice on the offlane, so.
Yep. And talk about Unorthodox. I mean, OG, they start with IO Mars. We've seen a lot of Mars plus some sort of combo in the arena. That's the most obvious thing people see, but what is the strength of this IO Mars as a starter?
That's a good question. I think so. Something that OG use that I would imagine with Mars for them is that I'm not putting this off lane right now. I think it could be multiple different roles. I think it could be a mid hero for Thompson. I think it could even be a 5 for No-Tail, just because They haven't shied away from doing these things, and specifically, almost I feel like planning a draft based on the expectation of the opponent. So they will pick a hero, anticipate that the opponent thinks it's this role, and then they round out the draft in the end, so that in a way, it's not even picked as a flex pick. In their minds, it's already maybe support. And then in the end, they just know what core they want because they've planned for it to be support the whole way, and the enemy team has counterpicked as a core, and then they just, swap things around. Where it might seem like, wow, that was a really great snap last-minute decision, and they might have, planned it 5 minutes ago. So that's what I think when I see this, that Mars is just a flex pick for them. As far as Secret goes in this tournament, I think maybe they are the team, in theory, that has the most flexibility on Monkey King. I genuinely think all 5 of their players could play this in this game. But when you pick AA, that corners it a little bit more, so it's probably not 5, but that's basically all OG know right now. I guess it needs no introduction. Both Nisha and Matumba Man Monkey King. Yapzor has played at this tournament already. He went for a build that we've seen a couple people play with, like the Atos into Gleipnir build. And Zai would also be able to play it. I think he's the least likely of the 4, though, to grab it.
Yeah, the team actually was running Monkey King Offlane was OG in the start of the season with a Witchblade build that Seb tried out, which was mixed results. I wanted to go back a bit in the draft, though, and ask you about a specific ban, which surprised me a bit, which is the Storm ban of the first 2 bans. You let the Monkey King highly contested hero pass through, and the Storm gets banned.
That's funny, Ava, because I was looking at it just now, and I thought it was interesting as well, but it does make sense. It seems to me that really OG did place this IO in high regard, because instead of caring about a potential Monkey King, they just chose to protect their IO. So IO is a hero who can provide so much utility for a team, but his biggest issue is just getting jumped. Right. And a lot of teams are not afraid of first phasing Storm anymore. The hero does get countered quite easily, but he can be played regardless of that. And sometimes picking your mid hero in the first phase is something that you have to do versus specific teams who like drafts like the IO, right? So they ban the Tiny and the Storm out, who both excel at killing him, and that's the priority they placed here.
Okay. Storm is also a much better pick on the last pick of the first phase than he is on the 1-2, right?
Yeah.
It means you get to go into bans and solve some of the problems you might have. In recent times, I think Storm's bad matchups mid are very limited as well. There's not like that many heroes you could pick if you're OG. And specifically, one of Storm's worst matchups in lane, Lina, is something that I don't think we see Topson play that much. When Lina was very popular, Topson was one of the few mid players that never touched it, actually. It just didn't fit his style. He has played it since sometimes, but I don't think it's one of his favorites. So that could be part of it. Another thing is, you might open up the Monkey King for Secret specifically because when I think about all of the top teams in the world, I think Secret is probably the team that, in my opinion, is least successful with IO. Like, they've tried it many different times in different variations over the years. They've had Puppy play it, Yapzor play it. And it's like, there are games where it looks really good, but there's just as many where it's like, like, what if? There's all these what if feelings. So I think OG, being super experienced both with and against the hero, are fine with just leaving it in the pool. You know what, Secret, you guys want it? We have a plan for you. If not, we're going to take it every time. Right. So you kind of put the onus on Secret to find a solution of how this hero is going to play into the game in general.
And now, you talked about combos earlier for OG, but the combo is going to come out for Team Secret, a tried and true combo. Usually it's SCA teams that love this combo the most, but it's the Earthshaker Morphling. For those of you at home that don't know, Morphling will get an Ags, he'll turn into Shaker, he'll crit you for 1,000 damage, and you go, where's my HP, where's my support? You can't stop him, he moves around the map. It's kind of ridiculous. Yeah. Can you tell me, do you think this is the game for an Earthshaker combo, or Morph Shaker combo?
So I want to talk about this combo in particular because it was a nightmare a few months ago, like a year ago or something, right? In pubs where it just felt incredibly strong. It felt uncounterable to a degree. TNC. And it fell out of favor because of nerfs to Earthshaker, right? And nerfs to Morphling as well, but specifically Earthshaker's airtime in his Ags. But recently, they reverted that change. So now, when Earthshaker buys an Ags, his airtime is much lower, which was a direct buff to this combo, but also he cleaves when he lands to the totem, so...
Oh, and that also works on the Morphling ranged attack, which I didn't know until I saw it. That's like kind of...
You don't have to do any swap at all? Like, you can just do it as ranged?
Your ranged attack has cleave.
That's absurd.
So when people realized, hey, this is good again, I expected it to be probably the 2 most picked heroes together. at
So,
this tournament.
if you haven't seen what Effie was talking about, before, as you know, Shaker was quite fast at jumping through the air, then they reverted it, and it felt like you were watching Space Jam in slow motion, right? And now we're back to actually watching the real NBA, and that's where morphing is scariest. So, we have last picks here. What could we be expecting for both teams? You talked about the Monkey King flex. Where are you expecting him now?
I'm mainly just want to quickly look at OG again, just because. Okay. So they've played IO Tusk, right, as a dual lane where it's been Seb playing the IO and Soxa on the Tusk position 4. If they do want to do that, this Mars is indeed 5, most likely, right? Then the mid would be Invoker for Thompson, which is probably a lock at this point.
Yes.
If you want to do it quote-unquote standard, you could play Mars Tusk lane and then put IO plus carry safe lane, but it sounds kind of weak against Morph, so I think Secret or OG are more likely to run that IO Tusk lane. As far as Secret goes, they want a last pick that is probably just their mid hero. They could put Monkey King mid against Invoker. It's not a bad matchup, and grab an offlaner here for Zai. The thing is, that's probably what they're going to do.
You don't think it's bad, despite the fact that Tornado can dispel the Jingle Mastery?
So I want to say, historically speaking, that Monkey King performs very well against Quaswex Invoker mid. He runs at you and hits you, and if you have to space yourself as Invoker all the time, he denies the creeps.
Right.
And Invoker is very limited in terms of utility in the lane. Like you said, he has this one Tornado, but aside from that, he can't really fight back. His base damage isn't great, his armor isn't that great. Monkey King, if he ever gets the procs in, he's going to go for it. All right, it is probably going to be an offlane Monkey, though, as it looks.
Interesting.
Mid-Ember.
It could also be an offlane Shaker, which we've seen a lot in this tournament.
Could.
And just to add on to that point about Monkey King versus Invoker, Monkey King is actually quite nice because when Quaswex Invoker attempts to rotate around the map, Monkey King can match his pace very easily. He's not one of those mid heroes who needs to sit there and farm forever. He can do that, but he can also join these side lane fights very early on.
All right.
The concern for that is just he's playing versus Mars and Arena. It cuts down his trees, and it's a counter in that regard, but it doesn't seem like they're going to be too concerned about it.
With the draft finalized, I'd like to ask you first, Effie. Pick whichever team and tell me the weaknesses and the strengths of that draft.
Well, we still didn't talk about the last 2 picks, so I'm trying to think about them in like larger context. But this Ember pick is quite good, right? Because what did they lack versus this IO? The backline jump. And they are going to have that in Shaker and Morphling later on in the game, but they do need that hero who can go in first. And because of having this Ember, it actually enables Ancient Apparition, because Ancient Apparition is a hero that likes to shoot his ults out whenever he has them. So in order for that to happen, they can't just sit back and wait for a Shaker blink timing, right? So Ember really makes up for Shaker's weaknesses in that sense. Oh, and it is a position for Monkey King, actually.
Closing thoughts?
4 Monkey and a 5 Mars.
Closing thoughts of what you love about OG, please.
I love OG's pace here. They can play super fast. Crosswix Invoker, Ursa Wisp. There's so much tempo. Tusk. Secret's lineup needs a little bit more time to build up, so I think OG are going to play super hyper-aggressive in this game, play very explosive Dota. If Secret can weather the storm and get later, I think their strategy is most likely going to win this game. Okay. So a very clear contrast between the 2 styles here with aggression versus more tempered gameplay.
And you asked about weaknesses in particular. I would just say that OG does have to play very well around these first couple of Aegises.
So you heard my panelist conclusions, but there's one man that I can't have on panel because it's just a bit too valuable. His name is BSJ, and he'll be giving you the last word for today.
Thank you, Avo. As Cinderin highlighted, we're going to have 2 very different paces coming out from these 2 teams, but I want to highlight the same position on both sides, the 4 position. We got Yapsor's Monkey King, and we got Soxa's Tusk. Both these 2 heroes are instrumental to the success of these teams. Yapsor is going to provide that information from the vision on the trees, as well as a setup stun for the AA combo, and eventually for the Earthshaker morph, buying time for them to get to their items. While on the other side, the Tusk, they lack a little bit of damage in the early game. The Ursa is going to rely on getting that defusal, probably by the 12 to 13 minute mark, where they're going to look to go for the Roche. But before that, all the early moves fall down to Soxa. He's going to be responsible for setting the tempo, as his tag team is pretty much the sole source of damage in the early game for OG. So I'm going to be following all the action myself with these 2 4-position players, and who better for you guys to follow the action with than the 2 casters that have been casting these guys throughout the entire DPC and now the upper bracket of the International. I give you Odie Pixel and Fog.
Thank you very much, Brian. Yes, looking forward to this one massively. Secret versus OG up here in the upper bracket. Fog, we've had the draft in front of us.
Yep.
What are you excited to see? I'm already seeing so much that I'm sure the fans of both teams at home are going to be very excited for this match.
Lots of combo plays, lots of speed, especially from the side of OG, as panel has been saying, and like Brian did tick it off. Very kind of different styles that we'll be going for. Obviously, OG is going to be looking to set pace with this Ursa, with this Invoker moving around the map, but it's different. It's just fun that we're starting to get to see from them so much. It's the IO3.
Yes, so. and it's I mean, we saw sort of course, OG do this before.
Yep.
And this game again, why do you feel it works so well for them here in this first match against Secret?
I think it's just something they're super comfortable with. Seb's been playing it so many times, and they've always been a team about amping up their carries, right? What better than having like an IO that gets these high levels, fast-paced, like level 4 overcharge online, tether as well. You get items faster, your mech, your holy lock, hot lock it. You set the tempo even faster as a 3-position IO than you were like a 5. Sure, mech is really cheap, so we see it picked up very early anyway on those like 5 IOs, but now it's like Seb is going to have it, and he's going to have these crazy levels that increases the healing as well, because that's what Tether does when you get levels. So,
and you do sort of agree with Cinder in the sentiment, really. He says very much, you know, you're looking at this game, this draft, and we know, of course, how OG likes to play.
Yep.
OG this game, they are going to want to, and they kind of need to play fast, because down the line, what this more Shaker is, you just don't want to sort of get yourself into the territory where you're having to deal with the fact that one of your heroes might get one shot.
Absolutely, and they're just going to get this crazy scaling. The team fight also, if you just look from Secret, it's a bit stronger as the game does progress. Once you start getting these levels on that Shaker, the AA, even the support Monkey King, it just starts to make everything a bit of a disaster for OG. But if they get a good tempo set, they have a good gold lead, then they're going to be able to still chain these kills. But we'll see if they can do that. But they do have the lineup to be able to, and tag team, Overcharge, Ursa, Alacrity. You know, Roche is going to die quite a lot of times in this game.
Absolutely, and we're definitely going to see OG get a lot of usage, as you say, out of those sort of early brawling abilities that are really going to amp them up and make it rather hard for Secret to go toe-to-toe with them in the sort of the earlier half of the game. Do apologize, ladies and gentlemen, we do have a brief pause. I believe the teams are just getting themselves ready and all sorted so we can get tucked in for a whole complete game of Dota 2, which... as I say, you know, we're going to have action from the minute one, really.
Yes, exactly. I'm wondering if, let's see, we'll probably see level 1 smoke from
Absolutely.
OG. They've got tag team, they've got IO, they've got the stronger level 1, even though sometimes it's a bit awkward because you have something like an IO and you're running to like Shaker. There's a Monkey King and an AI on the other side, there's a Morphling on the other side, so OG is going to look to hit hard right from the start of this game. And let's see if they do some, like, maybe... I wouldn't say like tri-lane or anything like that, but maybe just for the start, get a quick early kill on the Morphling, then swap the lane up. Could definitely see a possibility from the IO, the Tusk, and the Mars, since Tusk just works so good when you have so many more heroes for tag team.
Yeah. And so looking at the mid lane, you know, Nisha versus Thompson here on the Ember versus Invoker. How do you expect that one to go, right? Thompson's not going to be too upset with the matchup, right? He's going to...
No. He should be okay.
Works Invoker, you can play around with the Ember quite a bit.
Yeah, you've got a little bit of, you got like good base damage. Sure, your Flame Guard's going to get dispelled in some situations, but you should be able to get these last hits. You're going to be able to pull creeps back, and, you know, water runes are a thing. So all these heroes that can still go for the bottle, like Ember Spirit when you're playing versus Invoker, you're going to have that good sustain that just comes from it naturally. Well, he doesn't. So I know Brian was heavily talking about Saksa in this upcoming game, and I think we'll probably see him a lot of times looking to make those moves around those water runes early on, even the 6-minute rune.
I mean, and the same to be said for Yaps on the Monkey King, or is he going to be more needed in the lane, really? Is he going to have as much freedom as Saxa is to sort of roam around and look towards that mid to help sort of push the matchup in their favor?
I think it's more going to be Saksa checking, but yeah, he'll check. He'll check as well on Yapsor. I think he'd like to stay with the Shaker, just as his melee versus Ursa. You don't want to leave him completely alone, right? So. No. Even though Shaker has done really well versus most of these melee matchups, Ursa can take advantage of it. Just one little pin from the Mars, even though it's a 5 position, and you should have the chase if there's no Monkey King there. So here we go.
Well, indeed, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The G has been called in chat. We are getting this match underway. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Game 1 of Secret versus OG here in the upper bracket. And indeed, of course, smokes up straight away from both teams.
Oh, yeah.
As a lot of potential for quite an early first blood this game.
Let's see if anybody scouts it, if anybody breaks it. Of course, we have Yapsor as this courier dressed up, so maybe he'll be able to scout something for his team to allow them to dodge that quick aggression that's going to come. And let's see.
OG coming for the long way around here. They could get the good approach onto the high ground.
Immediately skills Cold Snap. That's the other thing too. Just always want to point out, some Invokers we have seen at this tournament are skilling the Wex level 1 to get the EMP for the lane. That tells me even more they want to find the battle. And we're ready. I mean, the taunts, of course, come out from Seb, claiming that high ground. And Secret doesn't want to fight. They know that it's too strong.
Absolutely not. No, you don't want to run into OG level 1, especially when they've got the heroes they do this game.
See, YapzOr also continuing. He's the courier form. He brings his courier out so that he's going to be able to turn back into courier form as well later on, so he can keep using that. That's why you see it pulled out of the base so early. Something we're seeing a lot more players do.
And overall as well, this game, Fog, what's sort of your feeling from the drafts? Like, do you prefer the approach of one of the teams this game?
I've been a bigger fan of speed lately.
Yeah.
It's just going to have to be speed and few mistakes, though, because I've seen very similar drafts like this also from, we got to cast that LGD Elephant game where they had that enormous gold lead the entire game, and then one little slip up, the Morphling, and the combo just ends up taking. That one was a Morph and a Willow, which also is incredibly powerful, but Morph and Shaker has its similarities. So for me, it's pretty easy, even. It all depends on how the pace of the game starts going. Because if OG gets ahead, they can dictate pace and play around their low cooldowns. If Secret gets ahead early, then I think it might be a little tough for OG to bring it back. Level 1 Puppey gets gone on from tag team, instant TP, back to the lane.
Sort of eyes, as I say, both side lanes. I mean, which side lane is the most volatile, do you think? Who's got to be the most careful on this first couple of levels?
I feel like top has crazy potential of kills just because it's the double melee. YapzOr just makes 1 or 2 wrong steps. Same thing for Notail. There's Jingu skilled right away on the Monkey King too, so that's probably the most volatile for me. Bottom, the Io and Tusk have great kill potential on the AA. However, on the Morphling, I think Matu should be able to hold his own, because once he gets his level 2, level 3, he's going to have a disengage, and he's also just going to have that incredible attribute shift.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, this top lane, the fact that this Monkey King Shaker against the 2 melees, I guess same could be said for the Mars and the Ursa. A lot of potential to battle back, but for sure you're going to see both teams taking early swipes at each other.
Stick is going to be really valuable up there for Zai. He started with it. He's playing versus the Rebuke. Even we expect that Earthshock to come out from the Ursa early on too. So they're going to have a lot of mana to work with. And I'd say Secret, I give them a slight edge in the laning phase with their heroes the way it's set up at the moment.
So far top.
Ooh,
might have to be careful
1.
here, good Fisher. It's going to put a stop to any aggressive chase there from the 2 of OG. Mid lane Nisha having to play a little careful. He's got some regen out on the way, but rather low at the moment in that matchup so far. 8 for 2, 7 for 1. Pretty even here in the mid.
Thompson's gone just straight for damage. Doesn't finish up the Null, just finished up a Robe of the Magi. I feel like he might go something like a Drum. We've been seeing it from him quite a lot this tournament, and when he has the IO and it's all about pace, I think that's something he might be thinking about.
Oh, and there we have it, actually, bottom lane. Seb is the one to get first blood. Is he actually going to get Saxa out as well? He is. The heals are enough. Saxa doesn't even go down, as we see action on both side lanes pretty much kicking off at the same time. But, of course, OG, they were the ones to get the kill first.
Bit of a slip up there. I think Matu missed the waveform onto Saxa to get that trade kill. And as we said, Puppey, he's the one who's going to have to eat the brunt of the force most of the time from this tag team. He is securing the farm for Matu, but he's going to die most likely a lot of the times he does go down there.
Matu definitely having to be careful, but so far the first wave, even though losing the support by his side, free farm for the Morph down here, 14 for 5.
And Sumail struggling, since he's got that double melee versus the Monkey King who's holding skill point too. YapzOr may be deciding if he has another opportunity to...
Just get pushed back by the spear there, won't latch, they'll have the Fisher out. Sumail and Notail, they want to try and get YapzOr. Sumail looking to close in, but the Barrel strikes up. YapzOr turns into the tree. They take down Notail. Now he's going to look over towards Sumail. They've got him stunned. Oh, Sumail does get the kill. Can Zai get him in return? He can't. Sumail's got the boots, the movement speed. He'll make it away. So trade up there on the top lane, but of course Sumail may survive, but he's left in pretty bad shape there after that bruise up and still struggling to come to the lane for CS, struggling the most out of all the cores here in the early game, Sumail.
And Zai's always got mana to work with. That's what we're mentioning. These stick charges, he's always got a Fissure, he's always got enchant totems. It's a tough one for Sumail.
And YapzOr may have died, but of course able to head over towards the mid. Get Nisha topped up and well.
That's where those deaths are kind of valuable. When you have bottle mids, you can always fill them up. Unlike for the Invoker, they can't fill up Thompsons. Because he doesn't have one, obviously.
I mean, what?
Okay.
We have to control the water rune here. What can they do about this top lane, OG? Can they make any sort of alterations to get this better for Sumail, or do they just have to tank this really rough start for the Ursa?
I think they have to tank it as bottom. Puppey getting gone on.
Let's see if they can take it this time down. The damage from the tag team, it's enough here, Seb. Last hit comes in from the Iowa. Seb certainly off to a hot start indeed. I mean, maybe all Saxa. No, Matu's got to be cautious.
He's very low.
Seb just sort of beating back into him, stopping Matu from being able to get in and get the trade kill. Sinisha attempt to get aggressive mid with the chains.
Thompson, he's got some creeps on him too. Said low on, he doesn't have enough mana.
Fairy Fire, he'll keep him topped up. Thompson's still alive for now. Nisha, can he still get in this? 11 of a slight chains in about 8 seconds. Thompson's still hanging around. In fact, he's kind of stuck, but he has enough to get into the Ghost Walk. Thompson will stay alive.
Whew, really pushing the limit there, though.
Yeah, he is.
He reveals himself.
Oh, Nisha's going to want to dive back in. He's got the slight chains. Thompson, now with the Flame Guard up, Nisha's going to have the damage. Thompson there making a bit of a mistake, getting greedy. Trying to reveal himself to keep hitting the creeps, but he had no regen and no chance against Nisha with the second round of spells on the abilities of the Ember.
And Nisha's able, after that kill, walks into the enemy high ground on the triangle and also gets himself a bounty. So that's very fortunate for him. And yeah, big mistake there from Thompson.
I mean, it's, yeah, so far, just a 1k lead, but you saw it there in the CS. All 3 of Secret's cores across the board, getting solid farm in the lanes, whereas OG, they're having a bit of a slower time in the mid and that top lane.
And Secret's the one who, as we were mentioning, later game scaling is really good. You see this Morphling having a way better start than the Ursa. It's definitely some concern. So I think Saxa, he's going to have to be the one that we look at to kind of fix these lanes up for the team. Seb's done pretty damn good, but he's going to have to especially help out Sumail up top.
Absolutely. We've got to see big moves from Saxa.
Yeah. It's only level 3, too. It's not like he has this insane type of level advantage where you see some of these 4 positions have. Yapzor is actually level 4 before Saxa hits it, so a little bit harder to make all those aggressive moves when you don't have all 3 of your early abilities, like the Snowball, especially versus something like Earthshaker and Monkey King. Snowball, very useful.
That's Thompson.
Nice to
know. To get in and take that away from Nisha. Looking for the bottle refill.
Yeah, just not slowing down Matumba, man. A definite concern.
Sumail starting to get a bit more space. The pressure's definitely begun to lessen a little bit top with Yapzor making those movements over towards the mid. So a bit of breathing room for the Ursa here.
Only for a second or so, because Zai is going to hit 6 really soon. Looking to make the move, Matu.
They are going to try and go on Matu. Not quite enough damage there to stop him from shifting. Still have the chase down with the tag team. It's not enough. He's got the strength built up. Matu will be able to walk away.
Zai likely to be 6 after this lane, and that's where Sumail's going to have a lot of difficulty as he's still not level 6 on the Ursa.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
His double melee's up there.
The walk in for a potential slam could be deadly.
Does have his treads picked up, so he's a little bit tankier once he's got them on strength.
No tail. Just struggling to sort of trade with Yapzor. Spears off the mark. TP's coming in here for OG. Thompson, he's in with the backup. He's come to try and rectify this top lane for OG. Catch onto Yapzor. He'll set up for a kill between the 3 of them, and this very much needed. OG, they've got to try and get this top lane in a better condition.
And he's got the urn picked up at a perfect time, so he can make that move, and immediately he does queue up the drum. As expected, we've seen him do it a couple of times now, especially when they have the IO lineup, and as we said, OG, the slow start is here, but the pace of the game is going to get picked up incredibly fast.
Yes, you sort of blink and you miss it sometimes with the speed that OG sort of goes from 0 to 100. So it could absolutely still happen here in this early game. Still early days. 7 minutes in, 3 to 4. Less than 1k lead at the moment for Secret. There's still absolutely potential for OG to just explode in these early moments.
Yapzor making the move down bottom. They see him with the wards, but he's here already.
Yeah, they get a good primal spring jumping onto the 2 of them. Nice snowball off to the side. Saxa able to separate them a little bit, but now see if they get into Matumba Man, turning into the touch there to use the snowball against OG, closes in on Seb, gets the kill, and Yapzor might not even be done. He's got another spring in a few seconds. Does he want to go up into the triangle? He does. He's keeping his eyes on Saxa. Not quite land with the slow though, and Saxa will manage to make it back to the safety of his tower with that. But still, as to Seb, the off-lane IO taken out of the lane here.
More space for Matu to heal back up to full from the Morbid Mask. Zai playing careful top, level 7 already. Very close to his blink tag already, 800 off with the treads. Sumail's just had to leave the lane. I don't think he wants to be up there anyway, and they need to start getting better levels on the 2 supports for the side of OG. Otherwise, they're not going to be able to do that run-at strategy that they want to do in the next few moments.
And Yap's already been quite the nuisance for OG here, just sort of jumping around with the vision he's giving. And OG, at least with the 2 of them, Saxa and Seb, struggling to really get their hands on this Monkey King in the trees, bouncing around.
Seb already has Holy Locket done, so that's what we were talking about, where you get these items so much faster as this offlane. Gonna be able to make some nice aggressive moves, but they're on him.
He's gonna try and go, but a quick tether over to Saxa will break the distance.
He's too fast.
Doesn't even want to commit further there. Yapsor knows, even with the boundless strike, they just don't quite have the damage, even with the three of them, to blow up Seb whilst he has Saxa by his side.
Not quite yet. Puppy still only level 5.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to actually move the Morphling out of the lane and then send the AA bottom to get that 6 early on to deter OG from going that run at you. Since once they have AA 6 also, you know, Holy Locket is online for IO, but that's going to be counteracted quite heavily when Puppy does get 6.
Absolutely, yeah. If he can land these blasts, it will be a complete thorn in the side here for the way that OG want to fight in that mid game.
And they have setup, right? They have Shaker Fissure, they have Chains, they have Monkey King Bound the Strike, a lot of different ways for them to set up that blast.
See?
10 minutes.
Looking over towards Nisha, but in fact, Nisha is going to be able to set up anything on them. No, doesn't want to try. Thompson, just get the initial grab here. Nice EMP. Oh, he was waiting for him. Samael, he was ready. Samael, if he gets this, it's going to be a lovely kill here for the Bears. Samael set up in perfect position. You know, he's had a bit of a sad time in the jungle, but he's able to head over to the mid lane, get a kill on Nisha. Top lane as well, OG, they turn over towards Zai. Have a little bit of a weight there to really amp up that final blow there that N0tail delivers to Zai.
Zai used Echo up there too, and they were able to sustain up from the IOTP. Then now it's going to be on cooldown for a very long time, which is going to be a signal to OG.
Yeah, I mean, this is
to run.
Look at Samael now. We saw how rough of a start he had. He's second highest in the net worth there, getting that pick up from that huge kill on Nisha in the mid.
And they're pressuring bottom now with the 5-position Mars with the IO. Matu's had to leave the lane.
You can feel it, that the pressure, it's building up from OG. It really is. Thompson getting deep in the jungle, looking for Puppy. Is his mana gone? Has he got enough damage on his zone? Ooh, it's the Urn might take him out. Backup comes in. He gets the kill, Thompson, but it looks like he's probably going to die for this, as he's trying to escape them, but there is no running from Zai, Nisha, and Yapsor. So he gets in, he gets a kill, but maybe a little too deep that time from Thompson.
He did force 4 heroes there, though.
I guess that's space.
Space for IO to get the finished farm bottom, Tusk to get the levels top, Ursa to get more farm too. So at the end of the day, it's a Thompson move. Because that's what he likes to do. Sacrifice himself for the greater good. Zai does have a Blink Dagger finished up, though, off of that kill. So there is going to be some responses that come out from Secret after they get those kills. Also, a Maelstrom finished up on the Ember, so Secret does have a bit of a timing where they can fight back. That's the one thing, is we were talking about how OG is looking to set tempo constantly with this fast-paced draft, but it's not like Secret isn't going to be able to fight back with their heroes.
Absolutely not. Yeah, Secret, they'll certainly be ready to have a shot back at them. Let's see if they can set up to sort of make a jump and a good reveal with that Blink Dagger on Zai's Shaker. Smoke up already. In fact, from Yapsor and Nisha, they're leading the way up top. It's just Saxa up here at the moment, soaking up some XP around the tower. Matu starting to take the tower. They'll dive in straight away. Set up there with the chains, in with the Remnant. TP's coming in. It's actually going to continue. Thompson, he does want to try and look for the counterplay. Rugon's command is down. Jump off the side. Nisha is able to break away with that last bit of mana. Ice Blast comes crashing straight over to Seb. Headshot there from Puppy. As he lands it on the IO, no healing for Seb. Seb's out. Thompson trying to run with the sentries. There are plenty here from Secret as they lay them both down. Thompson, he's got the move speed though to get out of the range, so Thompson will sneak away. But a big hit there from Secret up on the top lane, and that's the move you said. They knew that OG, despite losing Saxa at the start, OG's the kind of team that will turn up and try and fight around that tier 1. Secret, they were prepared completely for that.
And look at the pace.
It's
They're
just a quick
smoking
move.
again instantly, though. The smoke's going to break.
It is. They know they're in the pit. Puppy's going to know exactly what's going on, surely. Smoke dispels, he checks it out. This is risky from Samael and Saxa. They've got to run down side. He's in, catches the two, and they'll jump forward with the Remnant. Boundless strike follow up. They're both dead.
And it's half HP. They might consider even going for it themselves if they get some more follow-up kills.
He's ready to chase up to the high ground. Thompson and Seb will be able to hold them back. Quick slide for Nisha keeps them low, but Seb will heal the two of them up. But as you say, Roshan is in a bit of a juicy position here for Secret. It's not too easy for them to really go for it, though.
Yeah. Big hit, though. Nisha with some really nice individual plays there, dodging out the EMP, dodging out the Mars ult and everything around that tower, setting them up now for a 2K lead, and still looking to respond.
He's trying to set things up there, N0tail. Quick poke, stops Matu from being able to lead in.
That hurts OG quite a lot.
I mean, it was a risky play there, trying for that Roche. A very, very risky move. Does not pay off. Secret shut it down.
And they weren't even looking for the Roche. They were just smoking to move across the map, and they're like, oh, wait a minute. Look at that. So very fortunate for the side of Team Secret, having a Haste now on the Ember Spirit. Zai, as we mentioned, Echo Slam still on cooldown, but they've responded in great force versus the aggression of OG. Even though the relocate and the numbers are attempted to be there from OG, Secret was ready. And as you mentioned, the snipe, of course. Puppey getting that big AA blast on the IO. That's going to be the crucial thing.
He's going to do it every time, yeah.
This IO, if you look at 20 Holy Locket plus mech, he's going to be able to like full heal anybody they do go on, unless that AA blast does come over.
Absolutely, all about Puppey getting that hit in. I see OG. I think they pretty much have the defusal done on Samael, so yeah, it's just a few hundred gold off it. Any sort of other items at this stage that each team is waiting upon to have their sort of next power spike?
I don't think so at all. I think that
they just go when they want.
Secret is extremely happy with this pace of the game right now. Morphling, like Machu's just getting to free farm while they're also still defending towers. I think OG just needs to keep looking to make these plays. I think if they sit back and look to wait for something, the game's going to quickly fall out of their favor.
I mean, well, yeah, as you say, you're seeing Morph at the top net worth here,
yes.
And if that's happening, Secret's happy.
Yeah, they've got Defusal now. They got a Medallion also on the Invoker. This is another go time. Smoke up, look for a play immediately with this.
There we go, in immediately from OG. Seb. Samael and Notail. Seb, of course, ready to take Samael in with a relocate if Notail finds a solid setup for the arena.
They have to start finding these big kills. Slow down the Morphling, slow down the Ember Spirit. Still difficult, though.
Go for the D ward here, so Secret will be aware that they're coming in from the side. Secret grouping up here in preparation for some sort of jump from OG.
And they've got the big ultis. That's the one thing, Secret, especially if they've got the high ground advantage, they have those humongous team fight ultimates in comparison. OG a lot more limited because it's a 5-position Mars who has to walk his way in to try to place his arena.
I mean, some nice little moves there from Saxa, moving himself and all illusions independently there. So Secret did have to guess a bit what was happening. Samael, he's trying for the Roche again. He's in the pit. He's getting bashed. He will be able to jump out there away from the Fissure, but I mean, they really want to try and get this for Samael, but again, it's just such a risk when Secret's all up at the moment. As you say, Secret, they're more than happy to jump in for the fight. I don't know if you're ever going to be able to get Roshan like this if you're OG.
But they have to. That's the lineup. They need to get that Roshan advantage for the Ursa. That's why you see both teams just heavily emphasizing in the area. But yeah,
Secret's not going to let him.
Secret's got this Ice Vortex, 40 mana. I mean, Puppey can pretty much infinitely throw it in there to get the scout if he's in the area.
It's very hard for OG to find. They need to get some sort of action first.
Showing the IO top set. So have to be a bit careful of his positioning. He split away from the Ursa too, so that means the relocate play is not going to be available for OG to get the numbers. So Secret, they're looking to catch him. When he split away.
If they can get the setup a little too deep here, TP immediately comes in from Saxa. Rest of OG stunning the head up as well. So Secret, they won't dive any further. But yeah, as long as Secret can sort of keep the pressure on, keep OG distracted and away from Matu, they're only going to be able to increase that lead that Matu has. Already about 1k ahead of the farmer Samael. Matu much more happier to just spend time hitting the creeps. He is going to step at OG right on the shadow here. And Matu knows. He's keeping it cautious, keeping it cool, and making sure that OG can't get the jump on it.
He's going to have his Manta done any second now. And then he's going to go straight for that Aghanims afterwards, as we expect with that Earthshaker combo. And as we've come to expect from Topson when he's playing this Invoker, he sometimes does go for this more buff-up strategy, just the Alacrity plus that Solar Crest to make his Ursa, or whichever edge carry that much stronger.
Absolutely, just give Samael the best game he can possibly give him.
Yep. Notail sneaking in, but he's under vision.
I'm going to start things on him. He'll put the arena, but a quick jump from Nisha, dodges the spear. Backup's coming in from the side. Thompson buffed up by Seb as they look to lead in. Saxa, he's caught Sai as well at the top left to stop Sai from being able to get the jump in. The MP down sides out of Anna. Seb caught by the chains, hit by the blast as Seb goes down.
Nisha, time and time again this game, dodging the spears, dodging the Mars ults, dodging the EMPs, just being a rightful nuisance for OG.
A good read from Saxa, though. That fight could definitely have gone a whole lot worse for OG. Yeah. Saxa just making sure that he can find Zai's Shaker at every possibility.
Zai's resetting, though, going back to base, healing up, and he's still got Echo Slam. They didn't have to commit anything big on the side of Secret. AA Blast still cooldown for 30, though.
I mean, OG's still trying to fight into it. You see Saxa and Thompson coming up the high ground. He's going to jump start the fight straight away. This one goes snowball over from Saxa. Gives the time for Thompson to reset. Matu, wait for us inside. Trapped in the shots. He'll get taken down. We've got Tamar come down. Nisha with the newly picked up BKB. He's ready to brawl. Runs down Saxa. Turns over towards Samael. Samael trying to put the array Okay, Sumail now without the ult, he's in trouble. Matu turns into the touch, uses the shot, but Sumail's able to Earthshock out, and then Yapsor up into the sky, but they got him down. They got him down for the tree. Spear comes out. Ice block. Valley strike straight onto Thompson, but Thompson is still trying to down and fight. He can't survive for it all. He'll go down. Notel over to Yapsor. Sumail. He's on top of Puppy. Puppy to full. They found the number. OG will come out on top of this fight.
Right next to Roche as well.
This is what they were looking for. A huge fight for OG, sets up the Roche with 3 still dead on Secret. There's no stopping OG from taking this.
And Thompson ate the brunt of the force, but the AA Blast, as we mentioned, it's gotten nerfed so many times in the past, was still on cooldown for a good 20 seconds when they initially jumped Thompson. The heals come out, and then they're able to pretty decently turn the fight. Matu's still alive, though, does get a kill on No-Till, while the Roche is claimed by Sumail. But a pretty solid fight for OG, all things
really
considered.
was.
When it's a BKB reveal on Nisha, and the Wukong's command was there layered from the whole fight.
I mean, it looked like it was going to fall apart for OG as well. You see this chase. Matu was a cool moves here as the Tusk, trying to control Sumail, but he couldn't. Good control as well, taking Yapsor out of the trees, stopping that spring jump forward, which would have allowed them to kill Thompson off much quicker.
That spear was huge.
As OG, that was exactly the fight they needed here to begin to get that momentum, that sort of power back under their wings.
And look at this, Sumail is going to go straight for that Aghanims build on the Ursa. Just more survivability. He's going to be able to constantly be that rightful nuisance inside the fights, stick on targets. Again, no bottom.
Goodbye, Thompson. Down along his own. I mean, Seb,
reload.
He might be in trouble as well. Did try and come in to help out. He's pretty tanky, not tanky enough to deal with Forest Secret beating him down. They got to get out of there, the rest of OG. No fights to be had. As a bit of a slip up, and Seb getting baited into it as well.
Can't make too many of those mistakes. Even though you've got this Aegis and all that, you know, you've got this quick pace lineup, you don't want this game to drag on. You don't want to allow this Morphling to finish up and farm that Aghanims, which he is going to get eventually in this game. He's already got one component. So they've got the blink now on No-Tail, so just keep going. And that's the one thing is, they have to still look to keep making these plays, even if they do lose Thompson every now and then. It's just what they have to do with their draft. Otherwise, as we say, they will get outscaled.
Well, let's see how much they can get done with this Aegis.
See how much they can get done.
Blink. 3 minutes to really push the issue here for OG.
See what No-Tail finds with his blink reveal.
Set up mid. Trying to look for the jump and No-Tail. He's in with the counter, but they come to the arena. But is there actually any backup? I don't know if there is. No-Tail just ends up dying immediately after he looks to initiate. Yapsor and Zai, they are low. Saxa, he's got the catch straight over to one side. Zip fall from Matu, though Matu's ready to turn and fight back. Another kill here for Zai. Zai will survive. Chains locking down the two of them. Seb comes in with a heal. Tosses back up to full HP. You got the move. Coming out, but he did put it to a stop. Matu focused out by Sumail. They're ready to try for more. Yapsor powers off to the side. The cold now. Nisha, he's in trouble. He's trying to move it out of there. Will have enough mana to jump over to the side. They're looking to hunt him down. They know he's gone south. They're checking out the high ground, and with the Sunstrike, Sumail close to the gap again. Yapsor with the balance for the trees, holds back the bear, but the tornado setups in. Nisha, he's been surrounded.
Pop, you also outside.
I mean, underneath the tower, it's a little deep here for OG. Jump forward. See Sumail. Can get Zai here. He's got the heal of Seb. Sumail actually going to live. He's actually going to live here. Triple kick. They might get Yapsor as well. He's been caught off the tree. It's another. Sumail with the ultra kill. Getting it done here. OG turn it up. They look for the fight with the Aegis. They've still got that Aegis ready for another round. Sumail getting some huge kills there. Nearly level 18. Now we can look to start working on that BKB.
Look at the damage he was able to do in the fight. It looked a little weird because No-Tail starts the fight and they didn't have the backup initially, but in the midst of the fight, don't know if everybody saw it on the side of the cameras, the Io Spirits clipped the Shaker. Zai actually echoed the floor when they were trying to make the big go onto the Ursa. Either way though, there was still an Aegis, they were still getting all the full heal. OG getting this big ramp up going for them, and I do believe Secret needs to be a little bit more careful with their Ice Blasts. They just throw it onto Thompson every single time, but it's got a 60-second cooldown. There's likely only one going to be in every single one of these team fights. They have to prioritize it on the big heals. As we've seen Seb now just chunk up his teammates with that. And Thompson is the sacrifice.
Here we go. OG. No slowing down, of course, from this squad.
Nope.
1-5 finishes, they're already thinking about how they're going to start the next jump onto Matu.
right away.
With the cold snap, good vision from Zai, holds back the 3 waveform out. The Snowball's going to be there to chase up for the high ground. Samael, he still wants to go. He's going in. He's diving in onto Matu. The swipe build on Samael takes him down. Back to the low ground. Nisha managed to get onto the back lines. Kills off No-Tail with the BKB looking to commit. Kills off Thompson as well. Samael, still 40 seconds on the Aegis. Yaps off from the tree line, lines up onto the 2. Saxa, buying time with the snowball.
Oh.
He's going to be earning pretty deep here, Saxa, but Samael, meanwhile, finding Zai underneath the tier 2. And Saxa, he's also going to be able to walk out of it.
He's got his blink now. Oh boy, OG really starting to find their footing. And with the blink too, now there's more ways to save his teammates from combo plays. With Aghanims on Ursa, how are they going to combo Samael down?
Yeah,
he
they
can
are
just pop the
struggling.
enrage every single time when he's getting gone on. This is going to be a bit of a problem because they don't have any forms of silence at all on their team. So Enrage, of course, can be able to get popped whenever you are stunned up because of that Ags. This is problematic for Secret. He's such a big Ursa.
He really is. He played it so cool in the early game. That sort of pent-up rage from suffering in that sort of laning phase where he couldn't hit the CS. It's coming out now from Samael.
Level 20 already at this point. And he's not letting Matu have a fun time in the fights. Even though Matu did have such a good time in the early game, the Ursa just staking on him. The defusal is a problem.
Yeah, Matu has to run every time. He cannot fight back against this Ursa. Thompson. He's not going to be able to get the catch. Nisha is prepared for this.
Didn't get to touch on this either. If we look at Yapzor, he's going for a very greedy build. We've seen a couple times the Aetoses into Gleipnirs. I think we saw a couple Orchid rushes, I think on Crit as this 4 position. He's going for the late game. He's going for the Scotty. He's going to be able to apply it to everybody. The slow, the reduced healing as well from the IO2 in the team fights. So as it progresses, as we mentioned, Secret's going to be strong, but...
Saxa's going to find him. Puppy's got a fair bit of damage as well. Saxa, you know, the cold feet here with a snowball. Thompson, he'll be able to put a stop to the TP. No escape for Puppy.
Secret's trying to, I think, slow down a little bit here and get those items finished up, in particular the Ags on Morphling as well. It's very close to it.
As you were saying, not far off the Scotty, just about 1,000.
It's pretty close. Seb now has his own BKB, so
it's going
to be tough to focus fire him anyway. If they can get the AA blast coverage, if they can get a stun initially on him, then it'll work. But if he gets the BKB off pre-initiations, then it's probably going to be really hard for Secret to bring down the main focus targets that he's tethered to.
I mean, for OG, is it sort of waiting for the next rush? Do they need to go before, or can they afford to sort of wait, get that Aegis, and then look to make the move again?
No, I think just keep looking for fights. If they run into you, you look for the battle. You've got so many ways to protect your cores. Sumail likely won't die no matter what happens because they can't initiate on him cleaning now because of that Ags that he went for. I really like the pickup this time around that he went for it, since there is no silence that he has to worry about. Always can get your enrage off, always can allow your IO and your teammates to come back you up.
Got their eyes on No-Tail bottom.
Whoop. Bit patient for him. And there's the Axe. So Matu, only level 17, so not quite that permanent uptime that we always talk about from level 18 plus that morph timing, or he will always be in Shaker form.
I love the little pickup as well for Samael getting the Mindbreaker.
Yep.
Can be a great one.
Also, I didn't point this one out, but Zai got the Fake Grenade on the Shaker at 17 minutes. So now we have a lot of potential for some massive burst damage that's coming up from their sides from double, triple totems and whatnot. But OG, as we said, not slowing down.
Absolutely. As soon as someone shows in a lane and they feel that they're alone, they're making moves over there. See top Puppy. It's pretty out of the area though.
How do you go for Sumail? BKB Ags with a tethered IO behind him.
It's so hard.
It's going to be such a difficult target. They have to prioritize. I say somehow have to find Sep, but it's been very difficult for them. And with a BKB, it's how does Nisha focus fire him? Because that was Nisha's job for the most part this game.
Yeah, it's pretty much impossible to kill Sep at the start unless they open up with some sort of stun lockdown.
Which they have. They've got that Ags
double shaker.
Yep. And he's got a Titan Sliver too, so even stronger with that base damage increase.
Let's see who they can delete first.
Oh, Puppy says hello.
He's just going to walk in on this. He's going to get hit by the Mindbreaker. He needs help, and he needs it now. Puppy, he'll give the Ice Blast over, but Sim's already put the BKB on. Off to the side he goes. They lose No-Tail on the side of OG as Secret out to get to the back of him. So they're going to be any chase. Both teams coming out with the buyback immediately. OG, they will separate though. They back off. And just an awkward way really for Secret to start the fight. Puppy just heading up on the front lines.
I don't think he expected them to be there that soon. Just walk. I mean, I'm also surprised that he's the one that walked up so quick himself. As around the Roche pit, most important timing now for the next few minutes. About 35 seconds until that will spawn. We see OG sitting in the pit waiting.
Dire's structures are fortified. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
There we go, Secret. Rather far out here. They will finish off the tower. Smail. He's going to try and jump straight away onto Nisha. Nisha pops the BKB. Remnant off the side. There we go to Seb straight away. Everything thrown down off the eye. They've taken him down. Snowball over from Saxa. Sam does come out for time. Smail's already popped the ult. Ready to go over for more. Chasing down Yapsor. He'll remove the Monkey King out of the fight. A double kill for Smail. Now ready to go for something else to the side as he's on top of Matumba Man. Waveform out. Smail looks to Nisha, but now he's going to be frozen in position. Smail, he's trying to back out, but the cold feet kicks in. Smail will fall. No tail as well. Cut down by Nisha. With the setup there, Matsu comes in for the finishing blow. Secret, this time round, the execution, it's there. They find Seb, remove the Aya from the engagement, and suddenly everything becomes a lot harder for OG. Samael, he still wants to be able to charge in, but he hasn't quite got that same level of sustain that he had before.
And it was them just clear understanding. He used BKB earlier. They knew it was still on cooldown. If they just commit onto him immediately, that Io's dead. Mars used buyback earlier. No Mars, no Ursa for Fifta.
Just look at this, Seb.
Look how quick they were on him.
Everything just onto this Io, deleted from the team fight.
And then Matu can do whatever the hell he wants inside the fight because now he's got that Hag Shaker. He can just come in and start one-shotting these heroes. Is now with an Aegis in a very comfortable spot. Secret, as it's only a 1k lead, but I feel like it's going to start accelerating and building up very quickly for Secret. So OG has to be very careful how they take those fights when BKB are on cooldown.
Absolutely. It's just so much stun, so much AoE and control. It's not easy, even with the Enrage alone, for Samael to fight through.
It's just such an explosive amount of damage that's coming out. It's like anybody gets seen and they're just dead from these totems. As Matu's just hunting.
He's trying to go for Seb.
The headband midair. It's a cute little interaction. And of course we do have the IO shard. That's also something that will be coming into play. These little mini stuns that are kind of come out onto our Morphling and our Shaker that OG does still have. But yeah, with this, much more comfortable position, Secret to look to make more aggressive plays, and an E-Blade now finished for Matu as well.
So much blast here. Jump forward for No-Tail, but at the same time, Nisha, they're onto Saxa. Seb will lead in. They're looking for Yapsor. Matu's able to stand his ground for now, though. Yapsor finally falls. Matu not able to finish off Seb. Self E-Blade here as Matu looks to separate himself from the fight. OG, if they got any further chase, Samael.
The BKBs are
trying to head in. Samael, he's going to be able to blink to dodge the initiation, but now the Ice Blast, the slam, they're holding Samael in position. Seb trying to come over to give it the backup, but now Zai turns his attention over towards Seb. He doesn't have the damage though, Zai, and Seb will be able to keep himself alive. Nisha's over to the backlines, has chased down No-Tail. Matu, he's looking for Seb. Not enough mana to keep chasing onto the Aya, but meanwhile, Nisha and Puppy, they do get Samael as he's separated from the rest of his team.
There's too much that they have to deal with in the fight. They're trying to focus fire Matu, but then he jumps left. They're trying to focus fire Zai, and he jumps right. Then there's Anisha zipping around to the backlines, killing the supports with fire remnants. It's just so much elusiveness coming out from Secret, and OG does not have the same amount of control that comes out either. They don't have double shakers. They don't have chains and roots coming out anywhere. Much harder fights for them as we're seeing them progress.
And of course, Matu had the Aegis. He's still going to have it for another 3 minutes. Couldn't even get him the once. Definitely the concern starting to show with the sort of draft OG has now that the minutes are passing. 32 minutes in, 5k lead. OG, they've got to look for some phenomenal maneuvers to get Secret knocked back down.
They have the Hex on Thompson, so that'll at least allow them to hold one of those targets down and focus fire them. But yeah, as I was saying, it's just, there's so many things moving around. There's a Monkey King jumping, Amber Remnants, there's so much different chaos that Secret's causing in the fight. And OG has to try to find a way to weather it, but not really seeing too many options as Morphling gets Aegis, he's got Ags. You've lost so much control on the side of OG. This is not the way that their draft wants to play.
Oh, mid lane No-Tail. We'll find him a bit of a freebie by the looks of it. Puppy Eyes, he does get the blast off though, and now Nisha jumps in with the Remnant. No-Tail's gonna fall. Over to the side, Zai and Yapsor controlling Saxa. Nisha's looking to jump over to help out as well. I'm ready to go back in with another Remnant. Seb will take the two of them out of there.
Oh.
Look at the Hex! Have they got the damage? Samael, he's in onto him, but they can't even finish him off the one. Still has that Aegis, jump back over to Thompson trying to run with the E-Blade combo, comes in, Thompson blown up, Samael positive range stays on top of Matumba Man, but that's only the once. He's going to be back for round 2, Matu. Nisha jumps in, control on his Seb, he can't get away.
Good lord. This lineup is ridiculous. Once it's timing, I mean, OG is doing some great grabs of trying to get these pickoffs, but there's just too much control. They're too mobile. They're everywhere.
I mean, it's effectively sort of 3 fishes as well. This boundless strike also coming in from YapzOr. Just so many lines of stun thrown straight through the heart of the team fight.
Matu.
Oh!
They get the grab on him.
They got enough damage. No, they haven't. In fact, Matu, he's going to look to turn. He wants to get aggressive. He's going to try and get in on them. He's got to be a little careful. Here's the backup he required. Zai jumps in. No tail to fall. They even look for Sumail, but a quick blink gets him away from the Fisher.
Nice attempt there from OG, but Secret still in the area. Somehow, even though they were just bottom, as we've seen them just flying all over the place on the map, always seem to have the numbers. 12K gold lead. It's quickly swung into their advantage.
That was quite a confident line there, just straight up into their favor. 91% on the win probability right now for Secret.
There's just too much going on inside the fights. Too many things they have to focus on, while also trying to dodge AA blasts and keep the BKBs at a good timing so that they don't get clipped by it. It's not easy moving forward. And back into Shaker form. Back looking for the plays. Secret gonna continue looking for anything. Any type of battle that they can get now. And yeah, really catching their stride. Lincoln's now on Nisha too, so that Hex that we saw, likely to get countered just because of that.
It's gonna be so hard to lock him down.
Yeah. And they've got, you know, we did mention that YapzOr was going for a very greedy item build. He did finish it off in those last 2 fights.
Coming in for the side. Fisher out to Sumail to start things off. Sumail will be able to take out the wall. Jump off for Nisha over the wall. Thompson. They're on top of the Invoker. Thompson trying to run. Turns around with the combo. Ice Blast will miss, but Matu will not. Straight over onto the Invoker. Matu takes out Thompson. Now to Sumail. Sumail, he needs help, but he needs it out. Seb coming in with the tether. Relocates Seb. Won't be able to take Sumail out of this fight, but no tail's going to be left behind. As OG, they'll still lose 2.
I mean, this might be the most entertaining lineup I've ever seen in Dota. Everyone's just jumping back and forth, and they're still going to lose Seb out of it. 105 seconds.
That's a long time. This could be the window that Secret have been looking for to break the high ground.
Oh, they're feeling it. They're high-fiving. They're feeling that big confidence now after these last, 4 or 5 fights that they've just decimated OG in.
And what can OG do here? 3 dead.
They have to watch. The IO is so crucial for their lineup. Likely to just lose at least 2 sets.
It's the bottom racks cleaned up. Secret straight over to the mid.
The damage from the totems as well.
I mean, they're diving in a bit onto Sumail. They're tempted. Sumail getting quite the poke under the tier 4. I mean, he's going to jump. They're going to try and get on the Superman. Can they delete the Ice coming out? The Superman getting low. He's got the shift. He's going to live. Matu will stay alive. Ready to go back over towards Sumail. Sumail will bring down the Morphling, but he himself will lose his life for it. Buybacks coming out from OG. Same from Secret. Matu, he's had enough. He's ready to shut this one down as a second set of racks. They commit to kill them all. They do get him. I mean, it is in a position now. Matu dies again. The game might start to get a little bit interesting again.
They still have 30 seconds without the IO, though. They might just be able to commit for the racks.
It's a
little bit risky,
Secret,
but potential that they could. And again, it's too many things they have to deal with in the fights. Like you said there, they full commit for the Morphling, but he's not the only problem by any means.
Cost them so much.
Nisha 15, 3, and 20.
Yeah, they're all so strong right now, Secret.
Creeps aren't in the base, though. Those Forge Spirits in the mid lane.
And to push him out.
So that buyback, as you mentioned, might be a bit of a win condition here now for OG if they're able to find him. It's a very difficult one, but
it is
got to be careful.
It is there.
Yeah. Matu's got to be more cautious with his positioning. Oh, look at that. A DD rune. Look at this nice damage on our Morphling. He hasn't even popped the DD yet, but nice little 1,300. Actually more, 1,500.
I mean, also knowing that Roshan should be up rather soon again here, so something that is going to offset that risk of Matu using the buyback to get straight back in action.
And finding some big neutral items as well. Timeless Relic picked up on the side of Secret.
Oh my goodness, yeah, give it to these Shakers and the stuns.
Or the Ember Spirit. I mean, I'm fine with that too.
True.
He's pretty good with it.
It's a lot of damage.
OG.
There's Sumail. He's found Puppy, he's trying to get in, we'll get pushed back. Saxa closes in the Ice Blast over the inside, jumps in with the Sand. Sumail got the BKB off in time though, as he turns towards the Shaker, takes him out. Matu trying to find No-Tail, waveform over to the side. Seb bringing Sumail out to the side for now. We'll see the jump on Matu. He's taking on top of Sumail. There's the hit. Slams out Sumail. Sumail hits the deck out for 2 minutes on the Ursa.
Look at that damage. Over 1,800 damage on our Morphling.
That's a big number.
He just smacks Sumail, and now Seb returns as well to his death.
And now 3 dead, no buybacks on OG. Secret with the 4 of them up. They can look to run down mid.
Thompson, he showed himself for a second, but whoop, whoop. We'll slip away.
He's trying to create distractions, sort of push them away from the base, but Secret, they are definitely going to have their eyes on the Megas, and maybe even more. To have buybacks available on N0tail and Saxa, but 90 seconds no Sumail, a minute without Seb. There's the buyback, N0tail. Can they buy any time for their 2 cores to get back up?
It's got to be so scary for Thompson.
I mean, Saxa, he's going to get a jump in. They are able to get the spear off. Do they have the damage? Sunstrike coming down. Venetia's in with the Remnants. Matu, he's got too much HP. They can't burst through it. Buyback comes out for Thompson, but Saxa will fall. Also, with his buyback, looking to try and hold with just the 2 of them. The Secret, the damage is being done. The top racks are gone. The Mega Creeps will be out, and the jump over to Saxa. As soon as he's back in, he's back out again. Remnant over to Thompson. Thompson goes down. Everybody dead on OG as Secret now close it up. GG is called, and Team Secret will take game 1 of this best of 3.
They went for the strong scaling lineup, but saying that does take away a little bit of how much they're still able to fight in the early game. We see OG trying relentlessly to battle into them, but Secret still has good team fight with this double shaker even before those big levels come out for everybody. And YapzOr's greedy build does pay off with that Scotty later on. And OG, they try to run into it, but a couple too many deaths, especially on Thompson. He ends 4 and 11, trying to be that support kind of style invoker, but does end up hurting them versus this Secret draft.
Yeah, slowed down big time for him. And Sumail, trying his best. 14, 5, and 6. Not a bad KDA, but everything else just falling a little too much around him as Secret are able to cruise through in this late game and secure this game 40 minutes in. Game 1, ladies and gentlemen, goes to Team Secret.
Thank you very much, OD Pixel and Fogged, for the cast of an amazing match. This puts Team Secret at 1-0. And you know what that means? If they win this next game, OG goes down to the lower bracket for the first time in 3 TIs. That is whoa.
Whoa, what an insane game. What an insane start of the day. First from the Spirits match and now into OG versus Secret. The quality of Dota, the way these 2 teams played, the chaos that OG did manage to siphon Secret into, but they just waited their timings, right? They got to those timings, and the moment you have Aghanims on Ember Spirit, Shaker Morph combo, everything changes.
I think specifically the itemization coming out of Team Secret was really interesting and cool to look at. Like YapzOr, he rushed a Scotty on a support Monkey King because he had no way to kite Ursa at all. And then all of a sudden you have 4 of Team Secret's heroes with some sort of jump mobility. Morphling, Ember, Monkey King, Earthshaker, all going for the mobility abilities. And Sumail, he was destroying the game beyond godlike. But at the end of the day, he just couldn't output enough damage.
Yeah, I think the one fight where it was like the perfect timing in so many ways, where they had the Morph plus Shaker timing. I think they also had the Ember Ags at that exact point as well. And then in that fight, they finally were able to jump and focus Seb on the IO, who I believe had used BKB in the previous fight. And then after that point, it was just like...
That was around the pit, right?
Yeah, that was
the fight.
Right around the pit. And then for the rest of the game, it just looked like hugely Secret favored. And I do want to give a shout out to Nisha on Ember Spirit. The amount of times that he frame perfect dodged a spear or something like that into killing 2 heroes.
Yeah.
They could have delayed even without that, but that really helps when you're trying to delay for this late game Morph Shaker timing and you've got somebody playing like that.
Right.
That makes it work.
And they looked broken. right? We were talking about OG and how they ramp up and they build for this one specific power spike. And in this game, even Invoker from that mid lane is playing more of a utility role. The items that they bought, the drums, the corrosion on Tusk, the, what was it, medallion, solar crest, it's all, they didn't even buy a vessel, which was necessary when you think about playing versus a Morphling. No, you don't go for that. You just buff up that Ursa. That's why Sumail did have an ultra kill somewhere in that mid game around the tier 2. However, Morphling and Shaker, man, what the... It's been so broken for such a long time, and at such a grand stage, it just strikes again.
One of the things that I heard AUI talk about while we were sitting in the green room watching the matches, you said Ember is one of the best heroes right now.
He did say that.
Yeah.
I did say that.
Tell me a little bit about that. What makes you say that?
When I watch these games, I actually think Ember is going to be the hero of the tournament. Like, there's nothing really concrete. But in my head, like how he team fights, he's just going around the fight, providing vision. If you try to chase him, he has 5 remnants once his egg. He slides in between them. He creates so much chaos. And every time you look at the end game screen of the stats, he's like 60k hero damage for some reason, just out of nowhere. It doesn't say there. They tricked us.
Can I just let me just commend Puppy. Even though he spent 3rd most time dead in this game on all TIs, at the same time, he's been playing Ancient Apparition versus IO plus Tusk. That lane is incredibly difficult to stay alive in. He did feed a couple of times, but not nearly as many as I expected.
It was like a good amount of times too, because I think they were able to farm in the bottom lane way more than what I thought. OG had this really cool idea coming in. They would tether the creep in, so it goes into the tower. You get Equilibrium versus a Morphling A, who's supposed to be a weak team, and sort of zone them out with Tusker IO. But Secret, they're able to just sort of... I don't know what happened. They just dominated the lane early and they were able to survive.
They used the tag team first time in the jungle to try and kill the AA, who instantly TPs to the lane, which prevents them from using that tag team in the lane itself, right, for a couple of extra seconds, which allows Matu to get more last hits on those first few waves. Earlier raid band, which translates into him being 15 last hits and like 8 denies in a couple of waves.
Yeah, it could have worked too if they had the tag team, because the lane did immediately push out. Like you were saying, I think when the Morphling pulled to the range creep, the creeps ran into tower, creep wave pushes out double waves, but then without the tag team, and then with Secret getting level 2 timing first, it meant that they could actually farm in the lane.
Right. So if... I know Dota 2 is a team game, right? There's 5 people on one team, and you guys have been totally promoting like all the players. But if you were to pick one person who would be the MVP of that match, who would it be, Lizard?
That's so difficult.
I think it's Matu.
Matu?
I think when I watched them team fight, something I like the most is when Course think about the positioning of their allies and how they can like move in a way that lets them team fight. One of the fights, like Sumail was on Matu, he wanted to like waveform away from his team because it'd be further, but he had the presence of mind to waveform always towards his team, and his always thinking of how to fight like that made them win that game, I think, in the end. Like he let their timings work out because he would survive in situations where I don't think he should have.
Well, and it literally worked out in that fight too. He waveformed into Puppy, who got the cold feet onto...
Yeah, Sumail came in like 200 range, and the cold feet proc just because Matu's wave...
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
He goes the other way. Sumail, he might have killed Matu. The game might have been completely different.
Just for 100%. The memes, can we say Monkey King as well? Honorary mention, just because of the ultimate orb and orb of corrosion. That's all he built.
No, his item build was genius.
Yeah,
I think
never
it's straight
see
genius.
That.
Well, on the other hand, on OG's side, we have some superstars as well. Let's take a quick look at some of the stats for Sumail. This is like Sumail's joining OG, right? So we have the kill leaders for all time in TI, and Sumail is number 1 there with 1,290 kills. Tell me, is that a lot, AUI?
I mean, it's the most.
Across all... I mean, yes, but...
So, Sumail only started playing in TI 5.
Right.
So, I mean, I think Sumail is the best TI player of all time. I mean, he carried me in a TI, so I might be a little biased.
Just a little bit biased.
Yeah, right? A little bit biased. I mean, Thompson has a 100% win rate. But in my eyes, like Sumail, over time, how he performs at TI is always some insane level of play. Like, I think Nisha, he went for top moon, and there was just a bear there. Like, why was Sumail there? He just killed him.
Right,
yeah,
like, that was one of the that was one of the plays that sort of snowballed the game in OG's advantage for a bit.
Do you think that is a result of their teamwork? I remember that when we were talking, you guys were talking about how OG is a very close-knit team. Like, did Invoker know to send Ember to the top side of the river by Roche so that Ursa would be there?
I'll just say that, yeah, definitely OG is a close-knit team, but it takes a special kind of a person, and Sumail is definitely that. He's extremely talented.
Yeah.
The equanimity that he possesses to just, if you remember DAC, when he went, 0-4 on Storm, and then came back into the game, that's what, 2014, 15?
2015.
15. He comes back, he was still a kid, 16 or something, and he comes back and just completely demolishes the enemy team. 90% of players would just tilt. That's not him, though.
Yeah, that's like a 100% instinct play to me. Like, I'm sure Sumail called that, and I think the reason he knows that Ember's about to Remnant there is because he was a mid player before, and he knows how horrible it would be for the enemy carry to show up and solo kill you there. It's like mega game-changing.
Well, for those of you at home who want to think more about this game, just remember that there are a lot of other things going on here at TI. One of the things is the Secret Shop, which is now open. You can visit it at www.theinternational.wearenations.com. So while you are watching this series, remember that you can also head over to the Secret Shop, check out the goods that are available for this TI. And now let's bring it back to the match. So now we have this game, right? Team Secret is down, Team Secret is up 1 game, OG is down 1 game. Now that OG is kind of on their back foot a little bit, do you think that we're going to see like those happy faces that we saw when they first got in the booth, when they were marveling at their portrait? Do you think that maybe this time they're going to revisit it and be like, serious time now? Or do you think that their ability to just kind of shrug it off and smile into the next match is one of their strengths?
I feel like they'll shrug it off just because I don't know how you guys felt watching that game, but it didn't seem to me like OG was doing anything crazy wrong or anything like that where, you know, there were fights that were so close. There were fights that were so close to going one way or the other. And I feel like every fight was like 4 people on OG dying and then 3 people on Secret dying. It was never like just Secret completely wiping the floor with OG by any means. So if I'm OG, it's just like, all right, we'll just go in, we'll do another draft, see how she goes.
And if you know OG, they never falter.
Well, let's see how it looks as we bring out the teams once again for Game 2. Team Secret looking they look pretty much the same, right? Like, they look pretty serious. They look the same way when they were coming out for Game 1. OG, on the other hand, still looking like pretty upbeat, you know, hopping up the stairs.
Yeah, Sumail ran in there. Like, he can't wait to play another one.
You can't phase Sumail. It's unfazable.
Let's take a quick look at OG's journey through the DPC.
As a key, this Viper has to show up to all of these tower fights.
Viper's in. Topson able to dodge the rolling boulder in time. Connection will still be there onto No-Tail, but the ult is popped. TP heading over from Fada. Topson continue to make some big hits here with the DD rune. As 33, he'll fall. He's out of action. The Maledict though, and this poison damage killing Topson. Topson's probably going to pop here. Off to the side, Saxon comes in with the stun. 9 trapped in by the Sprout. Topson is still alive. He did indeed avoid that final bit of damage with the timing of the Remnant movement, making sure that tick came in whilst he was invulnerable.
I think at the first tick, he also dodged a little bit of as well when he did like the mini fire remnant, and then he saves. That was a sick play by Topson, keeping him alive. Very like, I'm 90% sure he dies to that mountain.
Absolutely.
And then that's going to be Humblegod grabbing up that Aegis. Stomp forward, coming after Spartan. Down he goes. The rest of the side of Team Brave just running away. The roll forward, they'll get the Hex off. Focus, running, wants to get back into his base as fast as possible. Wants nothing to do with the rest of this fight. Does end up stunning himself, but he's safely into the base. But you know who's not is going to be, of course, Stolmanen. And they're going a bit deep here. Trying to just get this kill onto Focus as Ana, Seb, all of them. They're just running in. Focus, is he going to make it out alive? Yes, they managed to go and keep him in, but it's not looking great here for SSA Spartan. He's trying to run. Wish is going to go down, though, as Spartan manages to get himself back. And oh my god, Ana, he wanted the fountain dive, and he's still alive.
it's just team fights are really not what they're looking for. They're looking for these like small little engagements like this.
Straight in.
They can catch.
Very nice setup there with two-man scatter blast down the Cookie's eye, trying to turn, gets the spear off onto Anna. Will manage to clip into the tree. Matu's in, pounces forward. Has he got enough control? But the grade comes out. Anna will be saved here. No tail able to get Anna back to safety. Saxon just walks in, a finger to the face of Zai. As Zai falls yet again. OG to take another kill.
Oh, so close, Thompson.
2 HP, I saw it, you saw it, we all saw it. 2
Everything.
HP.
Strength treads.
Oh, it's 1! It was 1 HP!
It was
Oh my goodness, 1 HP, ladies and gentlemen, take a print screen.
Okay. What is the hammer there? The egg comes out. You can see the shard is already picked up by him, and ILTW with the meta focusing on Topsy. He's going to be able to get it as the egg goes off as well. Nice impale from Soxa, but a big epicenter onto 2. Down goes ILTW. A huge initiation from Seb. And that's going to cost them 3 and make it 4 with Kuroki dropping to the deck. And this is likely to be a full team wipe if they're able to get Miracle here. Seb is actually going to stay alive throughout all of this. What a crazy counter initiation, turning into an ultra kill for Sumail.
Ready to run up high ground and try and take this down. Skitr looking for an opening now. Get the meld out, 9, Winner's Curse, hoping to do something. The buyback comes from the Tidehunter. Arrow afterwards, but the BKB didn't get it out in time. Skitr, BKB runs forward, tries to bring down this Nyx assassin. It is not gonna happen. Jump forward, there's the stun that they need. They take down Skitr, he buys back now. They keep on chasing it on this one. Thompson trying to find 9, he gets him. It's a godlike spree. They can't get anything. As one by one, all of Tundra falls, OG doesn't even die, and GG is called. OG are going back to TI to defend their title.
OG did place 5th and 6th in Season 1 and Season 2, not qualifying for either major, Singapore Major or the Annie Major, but they are still the defending champions, 2-year TI champions, and now they are down a game against Team Secret. On the other hand, Team Secret having a maybe less than satisfactory DPC run as well. They are proving that they deserve to be here and that their major experience translates into TI experience as well. Gentlemen, what are we expecting to see coming into Game 2? Do you think that there is going to be an adjustment in the way that they played? Do you think that maybe there's a chance for better timing capitalization? What are we going to see?
I don't think Secret will change a lot. Like if you listen to Puppy and how he thinks about this game, he always says the same thing. If you are correct, you win. If you're wrong, you lose. That's it. I believe he believes that he's correct at the moment, and the first game definitely did show that. They played on their brand. We were talking about them being this wall in which they're trying to defend until they hit their timings. They were successful in Game 1.
Yeah, and I don't think OG, they really should feel like they have to switch anything either. I think OG in particular are good at identifying what they did wrong in a game maybe, and just making like slight adjustments to that. Like last game, maybe they fought one time before they had mech, and they could have snowballed the game earlier.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. I think, like, they don't look like they're phased at all, to be honest, OG. I don't think they will be coming into this game.
So you think that basically the teams, the strategies themselves are perfectly fine, but maybe there's just, is there a change in draft? Do you think there might be a change in draft?
Less draft adjustment and more like a little bit more mentality adjustment.
How so?
I mean, I think OG, I don't know if it's losing the crowd, but I feel like maybe the two-time champion maybe added a little bit of pressure, like more than I thought it would affect them that game. But there was something a little bit off with how they played. Usually they take risks, but they don't start making the big fights until they have the real big timing. And I don't think that's quite there last game. Not the usual OG.
Do you think that comes back down to them maybe not having as much fun when it comes to Jerax and how much fun he brought to the team and tiny airlines and everything?
I don't know.
These things, they do relieve the pressure off of you, right?
You know, it is true. You know, you watch True Sight, it does seem true, but I feel like Sumail and Ana, very similar players.
All right, well, let's get it started.
versus Team Secret. Game 2.
Hello and welcome back to the most equal draft panel. We're ready for Game 2 between OG and Team Secret. Let's see what the draft brings for us today. My name is Mr. Abel Plus. Joining me is Effie and Syndren. Effie, can you tell me a bit of your closing thoughts about last game in the draft? Did you feel like it was what you'd expect considering those drafts?
That game was incredibly action-packed, which is definitely what we expected looking at it. But as it progressed, something really stood out to me with OG's draft that I didn't consider earlier, which was, if you take a look at their cores, they had a Diffusal Blade Ursa, they had a Quaswex Invoker, and they had an offlane IO. So their wave clear was lacking, and even though they had no wave clear, they were making these aggressive plays into Secret's triangle over and over and over again. And they did overpower them a few times, and it looked really good for them. But this issue made it so that Secret always had a way back into the game. So going into this draft, I would like to see a little bit more shove coming out of OG.
Would you agree with that sentiment?
Yeah, I definitely think it played a relatively big part in that game. Like, obviously, the whole wave clear problem becomes more prevalent when they actually have their advantage and they have the Aegis, right? That's when you want to push in all the lanes and then have this firm iron grip on the map, but they never really were able to maintain that. Also because they never really convincingly crushed a fight. Like, most of them were pretty close. Like, even if OG came out with 1 or 2 kill advantage, they'd used all the resources they kind of needed to reset anyway. So I agree. I think a bit more wave clear would definitely go a long way here for OG. So far, so good with Titan first pick. Can act as a decent wave clear as a support. Even if you don't get the CS, at least you deal with the wave pretty effectively. You're good at defending towers as well, so you prevent getting yourselves at a map disadvantage. And, well, before we look too much more at the picks, I just want to say about the bans, really interesting dynamic here that this time around OG, they banned the AA, and therefore this time Secret will ban out the IO. And OG actually ignoring Monkey King as a potential first pick here. They could get it now if they wanted to.
We see Enchantress actually as one of the first picks for Team Secret. Very, actually almost not picked hero. Effie, can you tell me what the thought process is here? Is it just to debuff the Elder Titan?
So Enchantress was a hero that was incredibly popular earlier, but she fell off because every time she's strong, she gets nerfed over and over again. But the most recent nerf is just her cast range, and Enchant was really bad, with a lot of neutrals being nerfed as well as a result of the strength of HOD and things like that. But Enchantress functions similarly to Ogre, actually, in that she's an incredibly tanky support, and Puppey does like to play heroes like this, right? At some point, even outside of laning, it can play that vision provider. It can be a bit of a ward, like face-checking high grounds and just absorbing a lot of damage in fights, and that is a style that Puppey does like to play. And if you give her space on the map, which is Secret's specialty, just assigning farm to all of their players, she can do a lot of damage in fights. Also, she can dispel, Monkey King comes out and she can dispel Jingus subs.
That's true. So in this pick order, they specifically pick it only seeing Elder Titan.
Yep.
I think perhaps this is a strategy that Secret have, that they understand Elder Titan has incredible prowess in lane, and maybe in their playbook, this is one of the only picks that exist that can match or beat Elder Titan in lane. Enchantress is so dominant in lane, and when she gets level 2 by getting 1 creep with Enchant and having Impetus, that I think she can actually overwhelm Elder Titan. In addition to that, she plays like between the lane and the jungle. It makes it harder for Elder Titan to hit his spirit on both heroes in lane. I think Elder Titan thrives when there's 2 laners playing together that are very easily connected with, so you get the full value out of that. So perhaps that's the idea. Like, I don't see any other real justification for it, except if they're just trying to surprise OG here, just because, like Effie said, this hero isn't very popular, it isn't widely regarded as very strong, and usually when Secret pick it, it is to win a lane, so that has to be the logic here.
That's a very good point, and I wonder if this Magnus pick was something that Secret were planning for going into this draft, or if they just took it away from OG, because the success that they had with the ET and Magnus combination in group stage was actually absurd. They came back from this ridiculous game versus IG where they were losing. They lost 5 fights in a row. We thought that perhaps it could have been the end for them, but there was this empowered ET just whacking away with his natural order on top of an RP, and it was just incredibly strong. So I'm just curious where they're headed with this Magnus, if they're going to play around it as a pseudo carry, or if it's just going to be buffing another hero on their team.
So seeing OG's first two, do we think Elder Titan is somewhat assigned yet? Or because OG is one of the teams that like playing it offlane the most, right? But they also do play it on no-tail. I think it's one of those two most likely for the team playing it. Don't really see it that like. Even Sox has played it actually a couple of games here. So it's 3-4-5. When they pick it together with Monkey King, no, it's just completely open, isn't it?
Yep.
ET could be 3-4-5, Monkey King could be 2-4, and technically one has Sumail played Monkey this event?
I'm not sure, but I'm sure he can play the Monkey King.
Yeah, he plays it. I know he plays it.
So, yeah, I mean, OG is the king of flex picks anyway, so
for sure.
This is the kind of mental games. We were talking about this last draft panel, how OG sometimes it seems like they're flexing, but the reality is they're baiting, and they already have an assigned position. You think you can be seeing here this time?
I think it's less clear here what the bait exactly would be, because I think, for example, with the Mars one, it's less common for it to be played 5.
Yeah.
Like Secret might have had it in the back of their minds last game, but here it's way more, like, quote unquote obvious if Elder Titan goes 3-4-5. Like the bait here would be if Elder Titan is mid, right? Or carry. But I would be very surprised to see it. I would love it, but I don't think that's what we're going to get. So less of a bait, more flex probably in this scenario.
Thompson did it once against a meeple, but that's a very specific situation to do it against.
Very specific.
Effie, I'd like to ask you: are there any bans that really stand out to you on the second ban phase that you'd like to point out?
I think banning Shaker was the correct choice because just leaving it open with the starter they had with the melee heroes and just not kind of accounting for a potential morphling was a mistake. And they got it out from the very beginning, so that's just a respect ban straight up, right? And it takes away issues that they may have with the ET and the Monkey King. So nothing too particularly strange here. The Juggernaut is a little bit unusual in that we haven't seen him as one of the most contested heroes in this patch, but it just seems like OG don't want to get outpaced at the start of the game.
OG also value Mag Jug a lot themselves. It's a strategy they play, and they know Secret are very capable of playing these heroes. Interestingly, the Wind Ranger here, which could both be a mid and a 4, most likely one of the two. I feel like I'm seeing a plan here from Secret that, okay, if you guys have Elder Titan Monkey King, we're going to pick heroes that are hard to hit, right?
Yep.
So you have the Enchantress with Untouchable, you have Wind Ranger with Windrun, and now that OG picks Legion Commander as well as Clinks, I think Secret, even if they had the plan of playing the Wind Ranger 4, they might be upgrading it to a mid hero here. I think it's actually a very good Wind Ranger game, especially when you look for the potential Ags in the build. It seems very, very strong. But obviously, they can keep that choice for last if they pick their carry now. Then they can decide a little bit later after seeing OG's final pick. So I think in Secret's position here, you need to decide what's more important. If you pick your carry now, you give OG a counterpick to your carry. If you pick your 4 or your mid, you're showing your hand, right?
Exactly.
So what do you think is more valuable? I don't know.
Agreed. I really like the concept that we're going to pick heroes that are difficult to hit and difficult to kill. And on top of that, Wind Ranger is an incredibly good hero versus Clinks because in the past, Clinks had an ability that made him dodge projectiles, right? And Wind Ranger was atrocious versus him. But now with just a Dust and a Maelstrom or an Umkivi or whatever damage item you choose, you as a hero alone can eliminate their win condition and their carry. So I like the concept there a lot.
Ursa is insane in this game. It's super good.
Can you elaborate on that?
You're playing against triple melee. Your lane matchup is more than likely either Legion Commander, Elder Titan as the core, or Monkey King, right? One of those three. You're a hero that can easily get on top of Clinks when you have a dagger, or even if Clinks is caught by anything, you can overwhelm him. You get, like Effie said, you just get a Dust, you run at him with Diffusal and you kill him. So it's set up for a good laning stage, good hero matchups, and you have Empower, and you're good 1v1 against all of the 3 cores that we're assuming OG have shown here. I think this Ursa pick is just phenomenal. It's pretty rare that in this tournament that I've seen a game that looks so good for Ursa. I think this is a better Ursa game than OG's was last one.
Yeah, and something that I would like to comment on regarding the Ursa pick, which makes it very nice, is when I saw this Clinks pick, I was like, okay, typical Sumail Clinks, right? The way he has been playing it throughout group stage is he even skips boots. Doesn't go brown boots, rushes the Maelstrom and sits in the triangle for a while. So typically when something like that happens, you as an enemy, you have to deal with it, right? And there is no better hero for early triangle invasions than a Diffusal Blade Ursa who has a good start. And for all the reasons that Cinder had mentioned, Ursa should have a good game. So they do have the ability to attack early on, which is really important when you play versus Clinks.
You're very right, and actually, to add on the Klink's point that you're making, the way they actually played it as well is to try to steal enemy stacks as well and close out their map, which tends to not work against early timings or carries with early timings, much like the Ursa. So, very good point here. And on Synder's point on the Ursa, let's not forget, Secret's actually one of the teams that highly value the Ursa in this tournament. So they think it's a carry that's like pretty solid, and as you say, this is a good Ursa game. They might just be carrying the game along with this hero.
Yeah, that's added value basically. Like we're talking about it from a theoretical perspective of just how good it is against the matchup, but I think it's also about comfort, right? I think maybe Matumbaman's the best player in the world in this hero, so definitely not. You're not going to say no thanks to an Ursa game like this if you're Matsu. You're like, just sign me up, let's go.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think about what the final pick both teams will be looking for here is. So Secret probably, I think they will upgrade the Windranger to mid here. If they do that, we're probably looking at a last pick 4 for Yapzor that is ideally ranged if they're playing offlane Mag on Zai. Correct me if I'm wrong, I think they've only played that on Zai, actually, the Magnus this tournament.
I do believe so.
We had a phase when Magnus was a true flex pick where it was being played 1, 2, 4, and 5, I think, for a little bit, and 3, all 5 roles.
Yeah,
in
all
one
5
patch.
roles. Yeah.
And I think after some of the changes to Empower, that got less appealing to play the just flat out support mag because the Empower wasn't as good on allies anymore. So more than likely, preferably putting that in a core role. OG are going to show their final hero here. It's going to be the Hoodwink.
Could be a Thompson Hoodwink.
Probably is.
Yep.
Safe lane Clinks, mid Hoodwink, Legion Commander, offlane, and then support ET Monkey King. Their lanes are pretty good.
Or honestly, the Legion, the Monkey, and the Elder, they could be flexed either way because we've seen a lot of Legion 5 from
Legion
them.
5.
And as you said, Seb loves the Elder Titan as well, and he plays the Monkey King in the offlane as well.
Yeah, maybe you downgrade Legion just because the Ursa matchup's so bad. But again, for me, the problem is I think any hero you put offlane here, if it's a melee, loses the lane to Ursa Eng. I just don't think you're likely to win there.
And my issue with the idea of downgrading the Legion is that then OG would just have no clear way to take the fight because there's no hero that will start it for them really, except the Blink Dagger I'll see later.
Yep.
So I'm just not fond of that idea.
Okay. So what are you thinking here for last pick for Secret?
They have a lot of time. Is Ember still in the pool? Because we could still see the Windranger 4. I don't think Ember is bad here. There's a lot of kiteable heroes.
It's a comfort.
Like you pointed out, there's the duel you could have to worry about, but aside from that, I think Ember kind of has a free game. It's hard to land a Hoodwink combo on Ember. Oh, he is banned?
Yeah,
okay, I can't see. Oh, that's
Could we see another Spirit? Oh no, Storm has been banned too. Void Spirit's the only one in the pool.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem so appealing.
I still like Windranger 2, to be honest.
That's actually the strategy Beast Coast has been figured out to deal with Monkey King as well. They were running Chris Luck on the Windranger, running your mid, and just, as you said, can't be hit.
I think it's good.
What are your thoughts on the last pick?
So I'm thinking about player preference here because that's what it'll come down to. Because on paper, this Windranger would be really good mid, but maybe at this point and why it's taking them so long to pick this last hero is that they're just asking, do you want this or not? And what else do you want?
Isn't Wyvern really good here?
Oh, a Tinker.
That is not what I expected at all. Okay, exciting.
Neither did I, but doesn't that throw back to the idea that try to hit us?
Yeah, it's more miss.
Yeah.
It's a blind. What do you think of that Tinker matchup in the mid lane now?
Assuming he's against the
He is against Hoodwink.
I don't know, I feel like it's just a wash. It's not a matchup I think I've ever seen before, but just from a theoretical standpoint, I think both heroes just farm.
Final points I feel like to hear.
Final point. On paper, I do think Hoodwink is a hero that is quite good at catching out Tinker because she can just scurry through the trees and find him and get him there. But if Tinker has a good game, I see Secret overwhelming OG here.
And for you, Cinder?
Yeah, pretty much. I like Secret's late game prospects here. They have an empowered carry, they have Tinker. Late game Tinker in this patch seems insane in some games. And outside of the catch on the Hoodwink, especially now that the Legion Commander is being revealed as a position 5, played by No-Tail here, I think Nisha needs to mainly pay attention to playing around trees because of Monkey King. But if let's say Secret set the stage for a fight somewhere that isn't massively surrounded by trees or they have vision in the area, I think Tinker can just shine in a game like this. So I do like them.
My only issue is this Enchantress seems kind of out of place in this draft, and she can die so easily to all of these heroes. So this is the wonky hero that I need to see.
Well, we have to throw it away because the man in the sidelines there is waiting for us. And as he likes to say, keep it PMA. So take it away, BSJ.
Thank you, Avo. As this game, I'd actually like to highlight the carries as both teams started the draft with what I like to call carry griefers. As Saksa on the Elder Titan, the natural order, it makes it very hard to pick a carry that can be durable because it removes all of your armor. But Ursa with the damage reduction is a great response because even though you have no armor, you're still taking 80% less damage. And on the other side, the two supports for Secret are Enchantress with the Untouchable and Windrunner with the Wind Run, two heroes that are almost impossible to right-click with any carry, so they elect to go for Clinks, whose Burning Barrage is a right-click based spell that cannot miss. And then on top of that, they like to go for the Hoodwink, whose Acorn Shot is another right-click based spell that cannot miss. And since the Ursa is now dealing with two ranged cores that he's going to have a tough time locking onto, he no longer has the damage responsibility because they wrapped it up with Tinker. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it off to the casters Odie, Pixel, and Fogged.
Thank you very much, Brian. Yes, game 2 ready to roll here with OG and Secret. Fogged, what are your initial reactions looking at these drafts? Are we seeing sort of a similar timing approach from both sides? Is it, again, OG trying to play fast and early and Secret more than happy to take it late and scale on?
Feels a little bit different. I think OG's looking for more of a later scaling this time around, but that's not to say that Secret doesn't have a very strong scaling lineup either. I think it's very different state than we have seen from the last one, just a one head-to-head kind of thing. Also, talking about the Enchantress, so there's an ET and a Monkey King in the offlane. That's kind of what Enchantress thrives versus playing against. You're able to dispel the Spirit buff, you're able to dispel Jingu in later stages, the Overwhelming Slow is also really nice. And even just heals. I've seen Puppy play this like a lot of times, so where he just backs up and he acts as like healer and just this damage soaker for his carry. So I think that's the kind of thing that they're looking for. And I mean, this is the first time I've gotten to see the Hoodwink mid in a while, and also first time me and you, I think, for this tournament get a Tinker mid. So this is pretty interesting kind of matchups we have because Hoodwink, he can hit, miss, miss is applied from the laser. So in the laning phase, could probably see Topson still just have a good time, but the burst potential of Tinker versus a squishy hero like Hoodwink sounds kind of scary in the mid game.
No, for sure. But yeah, Topson's going to have to be careful, but he's going to be very nimble, running around the tree line and trying to trip Nisha up, maybe getting him caught in the bushwhack to start things off, finding those back lines.
They do have good, decent ways of scouting inside trees for sure. The ET Spirit, they've got Monkey King jumping in trees, they'll have a scurry Hoodwink running around too. But we'll see if they will be able to find Nisha's. It does feel like he's going to have a pretty good timing. I've never seen this lane, but I do feel like Tinker probably comes out slightly ahead because of base damage. Just a miss of Rocket, though, Nisha. Lost vision of Topson, wasted some mana. And bottom, I'm curious to see how this is going to end up going. Like, how is Noto going to be able to do versus a Wind Ranger? Because historically, we've seen these Legion Commander 5s be able to trade with anybody, but Wind Ranger doesn't care.
Well, yeah, so on that, Wind Ranger able to find that courier there of No-Tail. Nice bit of gold here to start things off, throwing out the tip as well.
Let's see how Sumail's able to last hit down here too, because Clinks, as always we know, Searing Arrows helps you get these last hits. Denies are going to be more problematic, but look at the base damage differential. Magnus has 66 base damage, Clinks has 45, so still tough for that Clinks to find some of these last hits at times. First few waves though, OG seems to be very happy.
That mid lane, you're right, Topson's a little low on the HP, but getting in and trading CS nicely, and the ball should be out very shortly for him in that mid lane. Now we're seeing up top, Seb, 7 for 3 against the 5 for 1, able to play quite nicely against Matu, but as you mentioned, hard for the two of them to get aggressive once Puppy's around to dispel the buffs.
I think it's the first Enchantress I've gotten to see too, myself. I know he's been picked a couple of times now because of these big buff ups and just wanting to be that anti-carry. But it used to be a very early picked on hero, like just first 2 picked for a lot of strategies just because of the early timing that you can do and just all the fun stuff you can do with enchants as well too, which we'll have to get to later on, of course, once Tinker starts to get more, once Tinker gets levels and he can actually teleport to the creep that the Enchantress is going to have and join fights easier. That'll be definitely something we have to watch.
Topson. Okay, it's got the bottle right now. Coming in the courier. Yeah, Nisha stepping up. Indeed, Topson. Very, very low. Zap to keep him away from the wave, but
he's starting to struggle a bit in the lane, but I mean, Nisha's not really doing incredible either. Both of them are just messing with each other so much. And the Clink Sumail, he's actually done an excellent job in last hits. Hasn't really gotten denied too much versus the Magnus. Only 4 on Zai at the moment.
Oh, and another courier here for Yamsel. He's having a nice time taking those away from from OG's safe lane.
Is he going to be able to, I mean, if he's able to find another one too, that'd be pretty huge, as No-Tails just did come in, and they really need those careers.
Yeah, they've got to be a bit more careful.
Yeah. Too much gold being given up. No-Tail will get a nice pull-off, though.
Saxa.
He's
going to get the stomp off, but Puppey able to keep off to the side. The boundless strike pull on the back. Matu tries to tap, but Seb's got the damage, gets the kill. Will die in return. Puppey able to finish him off with the impetus. Get the trade up top.
That level 2 Jingu. I don't think they expected it to do that much bonus damage, but did decide to put the secondary point in it there on Seb. He had, what, 9 stacks of Fury swipes, I believe, on him, too.
Yeah, those last few hits took his HP off completely.
One hit back and forth between each other, and it would have just... One more Ursa hit and it would have been a kill on the Monkey King before that, but... Seb able to hold the wave, too, so he's pretty much missed out nothing after that death. He's going to have 2 range creeps pushing in. Fortunate for him. Enjoying Seb, No-Tail and YapzOr just running at each other. Very kind of awkward supports. And we will see No-Tail start to block Ancients, as we do expect, of course, these Ancient stacks to come out for the Tinker at some point. He'll probably do that smoke trick that we've seen popularized, where you smoke around Ancients and you just keep lasering them with your rearm.
See the mid CS right now. It's getting harder and harder for Thompson. 11 for 4 against a 17 for 10. This lane, it's not going to get any easier for the Hoodwink.
Damage is really starting to build up there, because your starting HP on the Hoodwink is actually pretty decent. I believe you're one of the higher strength agility heroes, but you only have 2 strength gain.
He's going to get turned upon him, Matu. He's a little cautious, though, knows that he can't commit completely onto Seb. Seb always holding onto that boundless for potential turnarounds. It really is a lane, this 2 versus 2, where both teams have to really read how much potential there's going to be from each core to just get the hits in on a hero and take them down. They've got to be careful.
Puppey does have the Satyr creep, though, so it's really starting to push quite a lot of aggression onto OG. Seb even trying to go onto Puppey here, but he is eating a lot of damage.
Yeah, Matu.
Ooh, that was close. Oh! What?
Seb? What happened to his tree?
I actually was asking me, I think he cut it.
No, his Quelling Blade wasn't on cooldown.
I have no idea. The tree?
The tree just said no and left. Apparently.
I was checking everybody.
I'm sure we're missing something, but...
I don't... All right. Mid lane, Thompson does buy a raindrop, so he can start tanking versus this insane burst damage. Also, a Wind Ranger comes into power shot in mid. He'll survive, but we're definitely seeing him fall heavily behind that Tinker there. I have no idea what happened to the trio. I checked all the tangos.
I was gonna say the tangos.
I don't know. Thompson going checking the rune. He's got Saxa, but there's more backup for Secret.
Oh, he's looking pretty dead here, Saxa. Oh, maybe with the stick charges. Oh, nice little 360 and a turnaround here. Saxa, he's still on the run. YapzOr will get it. See if Seb can get the trade in. Boundless Strike comes crashing down. Wim runs up in a second. The YapzOr, he's going to be able to run. He's out. Nothing else for OG to throw out his way. As YapzOr gets in, Bounty Rune picked up, and he gets away.
Lane's starting to get pretty disastrous too. Only the Clinks is now starting to have a good time. 2K lead. Thompson is 1,000 gold behind the Tinker already at this point, and Tinker overall does farm quite a lot faster, especially with that new lasering onto those Ancient shirts blocked, as we mentioned. But see what he's going to be able to do on this unorthodox mid hero as the Hoodwink.
See what the next bit. The focus is going to be. I mean, when you look at these two teams now, who's the most active right now? Who's having the easier time looking for the pickoffs?
At the moment, still, I would say probably OG if they can set up with the Hoodwink running around. But Secret's going to just be sitting back, sitting back farming. If they start to make the aggressive move on OG, the Tinker can move around easier. He can just show up at the tower and counter gank a lot easier.
Oh, they get the shackle in. Stop to the stomp here from Saxa, and the two of them got the damage though. Saxa is trying to run. Oh, just enough for the stick charges. Will stay alive. But again, being bullied away from this top lane completely by the two of them.
Anisha is 750 from Blink Dagger.
He's going to try. He's going to commit the RP for this. Has he got enough damage though, Zai? One more hit. He's looking for No-Tail. No-Tail. He's got a little bit of favourable movement. Shockwaves back up though, Zai. Just enough to take him down there with that level 1 shockwave.
Well worth it. Such an under-leveled support, an easy kill as Sumail has been pushed all the way to jungle. To finish up
Thompson.
Oh, the illusion!
Oh, Thompson!
He is so...
Well, he was living on the edge right there, I'll tell you that.
He's so squishy.
Yeah.
That was the 2 supports and like a rocket that nearly ends up cleaning him up. Yeah, he has to be much more careful. Thankful for him, he had that illusion, but...
That was a close one.
Notel also, since he did die, he's going to be able to fill up that bottle again too, but yeah, really seeing the fragility of the Hoodwink versus all this big burst damage that Secret does have.
Yeah, it's if they get eyes on him, taking nearly his entire HP out at the start of any sort of fight, Thompson's going to have to be the one to get the jump on them.
For most of the game, or for most of this early game, unless he buys some HP items, a laser, a rocket, and a power shot is pretty much going to kill him. So he's picked up the treads. We've seen that from Thompson before in the past, mostly in his pub game because he's mostly played that Hoodwink in the pubs. But this is usually what he goes for, so treads just so valuable. But 3K gold lead already for Secret.
Yeah, this is pretty huge.
Is trying to sneak into the Roche. He messed up. He actually did not get the hop over. And there was a Radiant scan that did catch Secret walking in here.
Okay, so Seb in the neighborhood.
But look at that's scary when 2 heroes can just walk into pit. A Medallion, Enchantress, plus an Ursa will easily sneak that one.
Yeah.
So now OG's just got to keep a hero in the area the entire time now, just in case.
Yeah, they cannot let Secret take this away from them as early as they can here with this Ursa.
And already a blink now on Nisha, Magnus free farming as well bottom. A very good start for Secret. With a lineup that scales quite heavily with that empowered Ursa as well.
Maxed out, of course, here by Zai.
Yep. And still finding kill. And still looking to be aggressive.
Oh, and he is. Zai showing his dominance down here, and again, the attention is split around. OG, they still sort of have 4 around this area top, but this time around, Secret's getting a bit more time in the pit.
Sumail is getting space to farm a quad ancient stack, which he does need.
They're going to try and get in it. Now drop the ult, but Secret, they'll step outside. And now Nisha's in the neighborhood as well. Roshan under half HP. Secret, they really want to get in and finish this. Zai's also turned up. Secret turning up in full force to try and get this Roshan finished off. OG, what can they do about this?
Sumail is not healthy. He's 200 HP. He can't get in the area.
I mean, it's just a distraction. It actually is a beautiful RP onto the 2. The laser from Nisha. 2 down. Sam also to full. Zai takes him out. 3 dead on OG. Secret, they get the space, they get the kills, they get the Roche, they get the Aegis.
I couldn't ask for a more picture-perfect RP there with the laser, hitting all 3 heroes too from the splash. That's
huge here. Saxa, he's trying to hide in the trees. Nisha is hunting. He has the rockets in. And with this haste rune, he's going to be able to close in and pick up another one. Nisha with the chase down. 10 minutes in, we're already at a 5K advantage for Secret.
And their mid tower is already getting pressure too. Puppy's defending top tower versus the Sumail Clinks and already looking to make more rotations. Nisha does head toward top. He's looking for Sumail a little bit perhaps, but just goes to neutrals.
It's going to be a lot on Sumail's shoulders this game. He is top net worth right now. He has got to carry this so hard for OG after a struggling early game.
And it is not going to be, does not look like the easiest one for him either, with so many heroes that can just collapse on top of him with such an early blink dagger on Tinker. Clinks, sure, your HP pool gets better and better as you do get the death pack levels, but early on, even with level 1 death pack, 1390 HP, like he's killable.
Just a little bit of a tease onto Zebit, nothing else to come his way. And OG, they're going to try and hit with a smoke.
They need to get something going their way. They've got the level 6 on the ET, so they've got Splitter online. They've got the level 8 on Hoodwink. They've also got Duel. Let's see what they can find, because it's into this Aegis of Secret.
Seb. He's going to try and start things, but Matu. Punch back into him, Zaxic. Getting the spirit out. Not even quite able to get the Jingu up here. Matu's got the speed to stay out of the range of Seb.
RP's back up in 20 as well.
So it's not going to be an easy tower to hold for OG.
They
are going to try. Opening onto Zai, but Zai is tanky as the Magnus. The Shackle, it'll connect. As OG, they've got Notel in trouble here. Drag back, taken out Seb. Will put the whip up with the boundless strike. He misses. Zai's able to retreat. Matu just closes in onto the Monkey King, chasing down Seb. Seb will get away. Zai still alive. The splitter from Saxa does finish him, but it costs Saxa his life. And Secret, they're ready to dive in behind the tower here. Thompson and Sumail, they've got to hide. The dust, it catches Sumail. Sumail will stay hidden in the trees.
He can't show his face.
And he just came down here. No TP to get out of this area of the map, Sumail. He is stuck down here, so for all his farm that he's had, it will slow down a little bit.
OG bringing all 5 heroes and still only getting a small kill onto the Magnus and still going to lose the tower there. And now for the next play, Magnus, he's got RP up. He's about to have Blink Dagger too. So Secret, they're going to look to hit right back.
Absolutely. And it's just been such a slow game here for Seb and Thompson. I mean, Puppey is just about 300 gold away from overtaking the farmer, Thompson.
Oh boy, yeah, that is a huge concern. Nisha's also halfway to Aghanims already too, so that burst damage that we're talking about increases even more in potential. That HP reduction that will be coming out. This is problematic. They need to find a way to stabilize the game, but it's not easy because of how much of a lead Secret got off of the laning phase, getting Aegis too. They're just hitting towers. We'll be able to eat the creep. Stop that push. But everybody on Secret's farming. Especially Puppey, of course, as he pretty much has Solar Crest done too. So now Matu, he's got steroids on his team. He's got the Empower, he's got this Solar Crest too. Clinks has a steroid, but it's going to be coming from like press the attack, which isn't really traditionally the greatest for him because he wants more about that raw damage rather than attack speed, since most of his is going to be coming from the barrage. At least he has the ET Aura that will be coming out for him later, but they have good heroes versus ET Aura.
Nice He's looking pretty dead up here. Same time as well, they find Saxa around the mid.
They're running away with this game.
They are rolling over OG right now.
Another one too, Seb. Oh my goodness, that was close.
That was very, very close here, Matu. He's going to get him. He's going to get him. Another one here for the Timberman.
And they're starting to invade Triangle as well already because they took that mid tower.
They're taking so much.
The place where Klink's needs in the game is now denied from him. As Zai will be able to farm that one up and setting up for another tower. 40 seconds still left on this Aegis. Just feels like OG can't do anything right now. And they just need time for the Klinks, but even when he gets time, is he going to be able to survive this onslaught? These heroes that all get on his face.
I mean, what is the recovery plan for OG? Is he going to get to the point where they just have to sort of continue to make space for Sumail, look for the high ground hold? I mean, is there any item that any of them are close towards that could set them up to make a play out on the map into Secret?
Not particularly, because this time around they didn't pick, they don't have that traditional initiator from the offlane. Their initiator is going to be coming from nothing really, right? It's going to be the Monkey King hiding inside the tree lines, perhaps getting a Wukong.
And he's struggling to hide it. He's being found every time. Seb again in the mid. They've got him. Another catch from Zai. They'll try for the duel here, but that's going to be a +10 to Puppey. Puppey walking away here with that bonus damage.
I think they're just going to have to wait for Secret to play over-aggressive and just hope for some type of stomp from Saxa with a splitter, because right now they have no real plays that they can make versus Secret. Secret has full control of the map, triple Blink Daggers on the cores, so they're much more mobile. It's really limited right now for OG what they can do and what they can find. And they're under vision constantly, Secret's not slowing down, and they're still keeping up that farm pace. Sumail still has yet to die.
He is. He's holding on here for the squad.
But is he going to be able to do anything when he does join the fights versus these bruisers that get on him?
As I say, if he's able to carry this is going to be carrying a game on extremely hard mode right now with the lead that Secret has against OG.
It's not easy versus Ursa either, because he just has a built-in enrage that can just tank up versus all the big burst damage that a hero like Klinks has. Zai ready to hunt.
Ready.
He's thinking about it.
Oh, Thompson's going to be found. It's quick with a bushwhack. Jump forward from Matthews. Finds Notel. Shackles in. Thompson to fall.
And that's the mid. That's the mid hoodwink who dies just like a support. All of Secret in the area again.
Puppey with the wraparound as well. OG, they're playing around this tower. Can they actually get something going here?
They got to be careful.
They're sort of looking to try and fight this, but it's going to be so hard. Notel, Shackle, jumps him on by Matu. He's going to move over towards Seb. Seb gets the Wukong's commando. He's caught the two of them. Seb goes down. Sumail falls as well. Saxa surrounded by Secret. As everybody dead on OG. 19-2 here. We're just 17 minutes in, but Secret, they're completely running away with this game.
And there's just not much of anything that OG can do. Even around their tier 2, they lose everybody like one by one. They lose the Hoodwink, then they lose the Monkey King, then they lose it's too much for them. Secret with all these Blink Daggers after such lead. It's 19-2.
Oh,
and look at Thompson again.
Thompson, he's on the run, and we'll live this time, but only just. As Secret, no reason to stop. They can keep running at them. They are so far ahead right now.
And they're still, OG's still trying to stack up Ancients, trying to still get Sumail all this gold, but gold for what? What's it gonna build into that's gonna be able to bring him to be able to fight at this massive disadvantage? It just really doesn't feel like there's any hope. Nisha Ags onward to the next item for him too. No-Tail trying to perhaps find a wrap around Nisha, but
Nisha.
He's safe.
Very close though. Quickly with the blink. Saxa. Also having to be cautious. Seb, he has got his Deso done. So they will have a little bit of damage. Obviously not really going to be saving him from dying though. Needs to have BKB really before the next fight.
Might be able to. Ooh, Nisha, he seems to be aware.
Yeah, Nisha's playing very careful. Quick blinks here, but ooh, another blink out as well, Nisha. They can't catch him as much and as hard as they try.
And everyone on Secret now connecting.
And we'll get the tower here. The question is if OG get out in time. Secret not turning up, but to have the eyes on Matuma Man. He can get the setup though. We'll get the grab back with a stun. Quick jump off to the side.
Nice play by Yapsor. He's using, I've seen that twice now. Power shots the tree from that acorn shot so that the stun just immediately gets removed. And then they smoke. Roche, it's a long respawn. But Secret, they know their power.
Yeah.
They're looking to claim back that triangle.
They don't need the Aegis to fight. Saxa. He's going to be the first one to be jumped. Matu's in. Saxa's gone Zai over to the side. He's got the Yule set up, the skewer back onto No-Tail.
It's
ripped
so
away from the rest of his team.
It's so hard to play versus these three Blink Daggers when they're at this disadvantage. They just can't even distance themselves from the heroes. Secret, it's just easy for them at this point. 2-21, constantly checking the Roche pit. As we said, it's a long respawn, so maybe a bit fortunate for OG that it is that long respawn, but Zai, he's still just hunting. OG trapped behind their tier 2s.
Still, it's just what the one death on Sumail. Level 14. It's keeping on track sort of with the XP of Secret's heroes. The problem is it is all three of Secret's cores, of course. 15 on Nisha, Zai, and Matu.
Don't forget about the core Puppy as well.
Yeah, he's stepping it up.
Trickling up.
206, Puppy's having a great time.
Sumail. They're giving him the tome as well. They're just trying to pump him up with everything at this point. They know that he is the only win condition for the team.
On the hunt for Matu. He is on his own.
Stomp clips, gets the enrage.
No-Tail's got the jewel to lock him down.
It's a short one though.
Splinter's going to be there to follow up. Have they got enough damage to take out Matu? He's going to look to run, but they got him. An important kill here for OG as they are able to take something away from Secret momentarily.
Big kill though, as well. Thompson gets the last hit, and it is when Roshan respawns. OG, they can't go for him themselves, but perhaps they can catch something here in the next 30 seconds while Ursa is dead. Immediately though, Secret already addressing the lanes. Nisha hard pushing bottom. Rest of his team all set up around mid to Power Shot and Shockwave to ensure nobody gets caught. And we do have 20-minute timings coming in, so that is also something we do have to factor in when there is always a Legion Commander support. This is his timing. You get that shard, you're able to get these big press the attack buffs onto your cores. But still a massive uphill battle for OG.
A long way to go to try and climb back against how much of a hold Secret's had on this game so far. Top lane. Zai, he's got his eyes on Seb, straight back into the claws of Matuma Man. Mid lane, OG trying to have a bit of a poke onto Puppy, but Puppy,
he's tanky.
Just out of range of the barrage there. Sumail, not quite able to clip him.
And into Roche after that kill. Monkey King, probably the most important hero for that Roshan. Even though they have ET, he's a bit underleveled. The Monkey King is everything, and they're going to smoke too.
Yeah, they are.
RP
Secret,
at the ready.
They're going to look to...
And Seb's going to be forced to buy, so that will make Secret hesitate a little bit here about full committing.
They really don't want to let Secret get away with another rush. But it's still so hard for them to take a team fight. Zai. Oh, he misses the skewer
though.
Skewer whiffed, RP down. A little bit of fortune going the way of OG.
that would cheer for some ancient stacks being
That's a
cleared
lot
up.
of money.
And they're going to smoke themselves, continue scouting the area.
No RP. Can they do anything with this OG? Walking into the pit themselves, but they really want to try and get a kill before they go for it.
Their lineup doesn't do the rush nearly as
No,
fast.
it's risky.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to attempt it.
Though. Let's see.
That Deso on 70 could be the difference maker, but no, they're not going to get the chance to.
It's too scary. Oh, and the push.
Smell. He's trying to get out with the shackle. They've got the center one of the two of them. Yapsov finds the angle. Ruko's command does come out. Stew off to the side. Has been called in the duel. Smell, can he get out? He can't. But Tuberman takes him down. They've got the drag back onto Notail. 2 dead on OG. Secret still with a full squad alive here. As OG, Saxa Thompson so low. Saxa dying outside of the pit as well. Thompson on the Robert side.
They're all dead.
Blinks in. Shockwave finishes him off.
They have full vision there for a second because Nisha blinks into high ground and just rockets and rockets and rockets. 3,600 damage from the Tinker. They tried to go for a bold attempt of even walking into the pit there, but Secret's just at the ready. Even without RP, they're way stronger.
Absolutely.
3 to 26, and now Roche easily secured.
It's all theirs. It's continued early time. He's just 24 minutes in. Secret getting so huge right now. Matu.
Already a Scotty finished up on him. Our Tinker here for Nisha has a Blink and a Shiva's. It's just getting more and more difficult, it feels.
Oh, he's going to feel the wrath of Zai here. Zai, another catch for Zai's Magnus.
And a dieback. 70 seconds, no 7.
Oh boy. I'm going to struggle to hold here. See how good, how good is the high ground for OG? How easily can they push back Secret?
They can push in pretty easy here. Without that Monkey King, not the greatest spam coming out from the side of OG. They've got the ET, so he's always pretty decent to get that stomp. But with the triple blinks, they have to be careful.
This is a huge risk from Samael. It will be saved for knocked by Notail, but Notail, he's going to lose his life for it. Gets some damage with the barrage, takes out the Aegis, but Samael dies on the high ground. They have the vision, they see him up there. Samael's out for 50, no buyback available on him. As OG, they sort of just throw bodies at Secret in an attempt to stop the push. It's not going to work. 3 heroes, 4 heroes dying, in fact. Notail having to buy back. Secret, they're not going anywhere. Nisha, he's in. Thompson, he's been found, but Notail trying to save him here with the press the attack, but they've got the catch. Thompson's gone.
There's just way too much damage and way too much of a lead. 20k gold lead. Nice overwhelming odds will slow them down a bit, but here comes Nisha to bottle up his teammates, to barrier them up as well with the defense matrix.
We're seeing the jump.
The Gale
Secret,
Force.
they're ready to dive in. Saxa caught in the claws of Matumaman. Sam also to fall. Buyback comes out straight away from Thompson and Saxa. Now get the control onto Matumaman. Do they have the first Notail? Trying to inside. In with the RP. Stops Thompson and Notail before they can get in on top of Matu. And Matu's away. Nisha's out, and they're ready to return back in. Nisha back with Black Boxers, get caught out by the duel. Samel has got the damage. He's taken out Puppy. Now with Nisha for the shackle shot. Yapsor again. Beautiful angle, locks the two of them down. Everybody's dead on OG. It's 4 to 37. Just 26 minutes in.
How many shackle shots have we seen like that? Like Nisha this time was dropping pretty low finally, but another shackle shot comes in, and yeah, Secret all just covering each other perfectly this game.
They really are. They're looking completely unstoppable here. This is the sort of performance so far from Secret that you know that Puppy's always been hunting for here to pull off flawlessly at TI. And here, game 2 of this upper bracket series against OG. It's looking pretty darn good. Seb caught out yet again.
26k onto the next one. OG just still sticking in it, even though the game is very much so over at this point.
It's probably hitting the 100% on the win probability, I would imagine.
We are at it.
We've been there for a few minutes indeed.
It's only 27 minutes in, and we have 27,000 gold lead.
That's insane. Oh, Zai!
Another one.
No,
and the Gale Force
as well. It doesn't matter, the burst! Taking out Saxa. There we have the second set of wreck. There's still a tier 2 up top. So the game may go on a little longer. But what can OG do? I don't know if there really is anything to be done here. Notail, another shackle. He's been caught. Sam tries to jump in, immediately taken out by Matu. They can't even get back to the fountain. GG is called. Secret looking utterly terrifying in this game too, as with that they secure themselves the series 2-0 against OG. They will be moving up in the upper bracket, and OG, they'll have to climb through the lower.
What a performance too, like every single player from Secret just hitting the nail on the head. Yapso with some clutch shackles, Puppey with being Puppey as his Enchantress decimating the laning phase, Matu of course coming in, and Nisha, what a performance this series.
Woo, absolutely, Nisha game one on his Ember, this game as well, 13-0-18. You could not do it any better there, and everything just gelled together so well from Secret. As I say, this is the sort of level of Dota that Secret, when you look at what they've achieved in the seasons and stuff, this is what you expect them to be able to turn up and perform.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. What a game two indeed. Secret are definitely going to be moving on with a lot of confidence off the back of that win in the upper bracket. And as I say, we'll have to see how OG deals with being in the lower yet again here for this run. But there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Secret, the series is theirs, 2-0 against OG.
Thank you very much, OD, Pixel, and Fogged. Team Secret Twitter said 219 Lamau, and then it ended up with 542. OG going 0-2 and headed down to the lower bracket for the first time in 3 years of TI. Gentlemen, what happened here?
They didn't bring back the magic of the comeback. There was no, just have fun, boys, let's just have fun in the second game, because this looked very rough.
Yeah, that was definitely a Gaben level shellacking, of course, as you're very familiar with from the NADPC. I think if that wasn't OG, if this wasn't TI, there would have been a GG way earlier. That was a complete stomp. The laning phase was hugely in favor of Team Secret, and then it just seemed like one of those games where there's nothing to catch the Tinker. You just can't do anything to the Tinker. He shows up, kills your entire team, you can't catch him.
Put it into perspective for me. At what point would it have been a GG if this were not TI? At what point was it so far gone that they would just GG out?
I think after the dive at the bottom tier 2, where
Zai
had the crazy skewer into the RP onto Monkey King and Clink.
Oh yeah,
I think that one probably would have broke the back. But I think this game overall, the hero of the game for me was Enchantress. I think this hero, like the story of this tournament so far for me is that it's very hard to snowball lanes into winning the game. But I think there's one hero that breaks the rules. When you have Enchantress play like Puppey, he identifies perfectly what to do in the game, and he goes for the correct skill build, given that he has a lot of damage on his heroes. He went for a 1-4-4 build, which allowed him to sort of frontline, so all his other heroes who had long-range poke could keep poking OG and then getting ready to commit at the correct time that they wanted to.
Meanwhile, speaking of frontline, on one side you have Enchantress, you have supports, everyone wants to go, everyone wants to make plays. On the other, you have Clinks and Hoodwink for your position 1 and 2. These heroes, they want to be as far away from the fight as possible, at the start at least. And they're doing the same thing. They're building into this Maelstrom that kind of brings up damage, but not necessarily. They still want to continue fighting with it. Seb, he was left alone on an island, and he had to make stuff happen. He had to be the frontliner. He had to protect absolutely everyone on his side. And sadly, it didn't look that great. He ended up the game with one kill and 10 deaths, something like that.
I feel like it's a really hard job to do for Monkey King.
It is for Monkey King, unless you're winning.
Yeah, unless you're winning. Out of time, Monkey King supports, like you're right. They don't want a front line. They don't want a tank. They want to sit back, get their spells off, and no one from OG, once they start getting behind, could really deal with Secret's pressure.
That's one of those things, though, that only is an issue if you're losing. Like, if this went totally the other way, we wouldn't be sitting here looking at OG's draft and being like, oh, they lacked initiation, because the Monkey King would be able to do that. Even maybe like the Elder Titan would be able to do that. And so it is just one of those things where you fall behind and you can't do anything. And then on the other side, I really liked Zai's build on Magnus. He just went Blink into Yules, into the Aghanim Shard. And one thing that I've noticed with Secret in this tournament is that when they're winning, they play so fast now. And by that, I mean they literally run around the map quickly, killing anybody who's trying to just desperately push out the lanes. It's like somebody will show up and kill you. And if Zai doesn't build the Yules, it's not as much of a threat because he can just Yules you and then skewer you out. How many fights did we see set up by Zai with a Yules into Skewer.
We have TI winner here. We have Big Brain Jenkins. Let me put this simple. They lost 3 lanes.
They did.
If you lose 3 lanes and your mid lane suffered super hard, like Hoodwink had half the CS of Tinker, you cannot play the game afterwards. Even if you're OG, you can have as big of a mental war as you can. It's still so difficult.
So what could OG have done there, or was Team Secret just so like airtight? Was their play so airtight that just there was just no answer after draft, or was it? What was like the key point? What was the key turning point?
I think it was a Roshan. Because OG, they had a good read on the game, I think. I think they were still in that. They were stalling the Roshan, making Team Secret waste 5 of their players' time. But then Zai, I don't even know how he got that RP off. And they got like a triple kill there, right? Like at the Roshan, they got triple kill and Aegis. I think if OG had played a bit more calm, just kept spamming them, just give it the Roshan eventually after stalling them for so long, they could have had a comeback in this game. Like maybe bring more heroes to a fight, maybe lay a trap somewhere, but it just never happened after that.
That's really difficult. And, you know, even and how about the morale of the game, right? So they weren't doing too well from pretty much the beginning. They couldn't farm, and then they had to take a series of fights that didn't go their way. What could they have done to keep the morale up? We saw like kind of a little bit of a decrease in the chat lines, you know, but
I think the morale is still there. It's OG after all. They psychologically they're really a strong team. They have Seb as a cornerstone who always props them up. That guy reads all sorts of books for morale and whatnot.
Yeah, they played until the very end. I mean, there's like 2 ways that you can look at that. You can look at that as if you played until the very end because people were kind of sitting there quietly, like toxically, you don't know what to do, your cores go quiet, whatever. But it's OG. It's like they're famous for morale and for mentality. So I think the way to look at that is probably they were just talking, they were just playing the game, they're having fun with it. And I kind of think like it's going to be interesting to see what OG does when they finally, you know, go back and have one of these like circle pep talks where they're like hyping each other up. I imagine Seb there, you know, doing the speaking. And like, do they come back super powered? And does it even matter?
Right. Well, on the other hand, we will get to see what Team Secret's morale and what their mentality is like as we go to this interview with Sir Action Slacks and Team Secret.
Thank you so much. I am here with the legend himself, Mr. 10-time. It's Puppy. Puppy, such a pleasure to have you. What a fantastic game. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Sorry for not using your voice lines, but it'll get to that.
You better, Puppy. All right, we had a deal. All right, Puppy, it's been 7 years on Team Secret. You've gone through a lot of roster shuffles. You've gone in and out of different teams, but this time, it's been 2 years of the same guys. What do you think the impact is on that? Do you think it's helping you guys out?
I think we kind of know each other pretty well by now. And we are doing some kind of things in order to find what are like stressors or things that are like psychological to make us help understand each other a little bit better, because we are in this relationship for a long while and we've been playing a long time. So I don't know, like we are just trying to go the right way, the right path, where we all kind of understand each other and our emotional stresses.
Absolutely. Well, after that series, it looks like you guys are going on the correct path. However, let's talk about the path before TI. This is the first time you guys have entered a TI without everyone pretty much assuming you were going to win it. Was that on purpose? Be real.
Kinda.
Wow.
It's not really that. It's just because there's no tournaments, right?
Sure.
There's really no tournaments, and there's no reason to overdo anything, and you don't get the same vibe as going to like ESL Birmingham or like let's say some other tournament. There's no such feeling anymore, and I know this feeling will be at TI at least. The majors are great too, but after the first major we already got kind of what we wanted. If we qualify one more time, we're in the solid. It's not the problem is not that we don't want to win. The problem is that in the back lines you always know that you're going to TI, which kind of suffers your gameplay in a way. And it's not really about that also, because we are kind of like boomers, most of them. Like Matsu and me, we're always making boomer jokes about each other and stuff, and it kind of like, you know, it shifts to the mentality that let's win the right matches, not the other stuff, please.
All right. Well, our next series coming up is going to be the best-of-1 eliminations. You've been there many times yourself, and a lot of these teams are looking up to you as kind of the grandpapa of Dota. Any advice to those guys?
For OG?
No, just for the other guys.
I mean, it's rough being there. I have no advice whatsoever because there's no such thing as good advice if you're down there. Most of the time, I think there's only one team that knows what's going on, and then they crawl up and do some stuff, right? But I think that comes from understanding the game. And when you're down there, I think you have to have the same mentality if you're up there.
Yeah.
So it's not like you should kind of be blinded by the fact that you're down there. So just don't even think about it.
Okay. Well, actually, since you mentioned it, OG has not been in the lower bracket in 4 years. You got any advice for them?
Stay down.
All right. Thank you so much, Puppy. Back to you.
Good Lord.
Stay down. Those were the words that Puppy had for OG. Well, Puppy may think that he and Matu are boomers, but they've actually got the zoomer moves. And let's see how they did in game 1 with a replay featuring ODPixel and Fogged.
Smell. He's going to try and jump straight onto Nisha. Nisha pops the BKB remnant off the side. They're going to attempt straight away. Everything thrown down off the eye. They've taken him down. So will open Saxon. Sam